Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting on your Monday night. Tonight, we give you the coverage of the Trinity Racing League, presented by Larry Arts Production. We just came off of the season inaugural race at Daytona last week. There are a bunch of bumps and clashes that went down, some hilarious moments, but ultimately, victory went to Vincent Sora, who's trying to emerge. We saw him win the inaugural season of the ISRC Truck Series that the Trinity Racing League kind of birthed from. Now we'll see if that 15 can continue on his trend. But here tonight, we get ourselves prepared for the second race of the season, and we go a little bit classic. We're heading to the 08 Atlanta for the Jones Paints and Design 140 here this evening. A track that's hot, slick, but the drivers getting a little bit of a different feel. As you can see, currently drivers are still trying to get a handful of this course, but we're excited to see what the 08 Atlanta has for us. We're excited to give you the coverage once again. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me up at the booth is Zach Hall. Running production here this evening will be Robert Moyer Jr. and Zach. A track with a lot of unknowns, as it's an old track, new car, but obviously a track that we've seen here on iRacing always put on a fabulous show.
Definitely has been, Sam. It is a classic, I'd say, when it comes to iRacing. You know, this really one of the original tracks that came with the sim when it first announced. So it is a very important thing that we've kept this this version of this track around. I know a lot of sim racers say, you know, yeah, they might have taken away this track from us and, you know, built the new Atlanta Atlanta Speedways, or Echo Park Speedway, I guess you could call it. But this track here is just so historic, the way it races, the way the track's worn out, the surface is just so bumpy, and it's just got so much character. That is the one thing that everybody talks about, and I think these Xfinity cars are going to really show that here tonight, and we're going to get to see who can master being able to take control of this old, aggressive track.
Yeah, I think character is the perfect word to use. We're going to see the character of the track, characters of drivers. We have a couple of drivers that we're still trying to get to know a little bit better, as tonight we currently have 41 drivers that have registered for tonight's race, meaning everyone that has shown up will be racing in this featured race here tonight. Last week, we had 3 drivers miss out on an opportunity to race here on the Trinity Racing League for the first race of the season. A couple of those drivers, I think I'm kind of still shocked that missed out on the first race. Cedric Hunter missing the first race of the season, and Zach, the 13, doesn't look too quick here tonight. Currently 31st on the board, but a driver who needs to start this season off with a bang if he wants to reset after missing the first race of the season.
Yeah, definitely a wild start for him. You know, no qualifying in for him for Daytona, so he is definitely going to have a large uphill battle, so to say. But he's, you know, a driver I think we could say has the possibility and opportunity with so many other names to go out there and get a win during this schedule. So we'll get to see maybe him pick up his game, because definitely 31st on the board right now. We've seen him definitely struggle when it comes to that short run speed, I think, a lot of times when it comes to qualifying. Maybe he'll get it figured out in this Xfinity car, though. This is definitely a different beast. I know he runs a lot of next-gen cars. A lot of these guys come from the trucks. So, again, this is going to be our first, I'd say, true test to see who's got these Xfinity cars figured out on the intermediate stuff, Sam. I think tonight could be a good little picture of what we see over these next 4, 5, 6 weeks upcoming.
We'll take a closer look at what the schedule looks like after this qualifying is done. But qualifying about to start. Your fastest driver from qualifying, Isaac Shelley, Justin Sipes, Danny Cochran, Thomas Green, and Nolan Hicks going to be your top fast 5 from practice. We'll see if that carries over here into qualifying. Qualifying is going to be a 5-minute period for these drivers. They're going to have 2 laps to put down their fastest time, but if they hit the wall, go in the grass, find themselves going out of control in any fashion, they will see their lap be invalidated. But qualifying could be impactful on the fact of the way the drivers talk about how this track is driving. Zach, we would say qualifying at some courses not as important, but how do you feel like qualifying is here at Atlanta as we're about to get started?
You know, talking to the few drivers I have here coming into tonight, Sam, a lot of them talked about the balance of this car being a little bit push in the nose. And what that means is it's going to push that car from the bottom of the track up the racetrack. Just not a lot of grip in the front ends of these race cars tonight here at Atlanta. So I think track position could be a huge factor to that, because we always talk about the dirty air really causes a lot of that tightness to show up in the balance already. I think it can only exacerbate that by being farther back. So not as bad as the next gens, but still I think that dirty air is going to be something that you're going to have to deal with. That leader's going to love being out front, of course, but also this track very much known to burn tires up. So I think it's going to be the question of, do you want track position? Do you want tires? And I think the first, fuel run we get of this race will really be a telling sign of what is the best. Is it the saving, or is it the aggressive track position style racing?
I'm excited to see what the answer is going to be as qualifying. First lap's about to be clocked in. First lap for Vincent Sora going to be a 31.780. First lap, we'll see how that changes on who's really got that fast time for themselves here this evening. But we have 8 drivers on my list that have signed up for the Trinity Racing League that aren't rookies, because this is the first season for the Trinity Racing League, but are 8 drivers that me personally I've never seen or casted before, and I'm excited on what they're going to be seeing here this season. One being this 08 of Jackson Anderson. Jackson Anderson has a lot of experience in racing in a lot of variety of different leagues, with a lot of high caliber leagues that he's raced in. He's performed in top 5s, top 10s. This 08 looks to be a favorite to watch out for, but into the outside wall, throw that lap away. And it's going to be a 6th place hold for now, a 31.676 for Anderson. Second lap not going to count with that big spin, but just showing the limit that you have to put these vehicles in if you want a fast time. And currently our fastest driver, Ryan Ferraro in the 10 machine, a 31.608. What a time by the 10.
That's exactly what I was about to say, Sam, is Ferraro with the burner of a lap here to put himself atop the board as we watch Cedric Hunter cross the line. He's going to go 9th on the board, so I think Cedric Hunter will be happy with that if it can stick in somewhat of a relative distance areas. We got about another 10 cars still yet to take time, as now we check out also the 2 of Stephen Clapp. We got to see him at Daytona be somewhat of a little bit of a factor there. Let's see what his qualifying laps can produce here, because it has been a wild leaderboard so far.
Yeah, looking at the Sim Racer Hub data, Stephen Clapp, not a lot of experience in league racing, but a driver who's trying to elevate and find his own space on course. This 2 expecting to try to be a middle-of-the-pack runner. We'll see if he can pick up any good time for himself. But, Zach, I'm looking at the lap times from practice to qualifying. The fastest lap during practice, a 31.0. A qualifying fastest lap currently is a 31.6, just showing how impactful the draft is going to be as well with the way that this track is running right now. Clapp's first lap not going to be validated. It's going to be a 32.4. See if he finds any extra speed for the 2 machine, as Ryan Ferraro still our pole sitter. Chris Stitt's going to be second in that front row, but across the line for the 2, it's not going to be fast enough to be up top of the board. It's going to be 34th. Currently with a 31.921 for Clapp. Here's another driver that we've seen here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting before. It's Noah Steele, who's seen his career grow in the ISRC Truck Series. That went from past seasons of being a threat to win up front to a driver that's trying to find a comfortability. And you can see those hands working. It doesn't seem pretty comfortable out there running on these corners, but for the 8 across the line, that first lap going to be a 32.509, taking it a little bit slow, but it'll run the outside for the 8 machine, but they're running out of time here quick. Steele should be able to get this time in before qualifying officially ends. This is going to be a very close one. Currently 37th on the board, and you'd love to find a little bit more of a pickup for this 8 machine as we enter around the corner, around the bend. Noah Steele going to be one of the final drivers to put in a qualifying time. Where will this 8 be placed? And across the line, 37th. Is there a pickup? Not a large one. It's up to 35th for Noah Steele. So not a massive change up front, but big shocker, it's Ryan Ferraro with the pole time here for the Jones Paints and Design 140. What a qualifying run for our blazing fast TV pole sitter, going to Ryan Ferraro. As qualifying ends, we're about to be entering into our warm-ups, where drivers will have 5 minutes for a little bit of extra practice time, as well gives us a period to take a closer look of how the season has been so far. Only 1 race has been completed at this time. That was Daytona. We also had the Clash. We had the duels. A little bit of extra bonus points were handed out to drivers that won the Clash and the duels. And also on top of the board, it's the driver that won last week, Vincent Sora. What a time for the 15. Start out a season with a win. But we know this is all going to change very quickly, Zach. But 1 race in, Sora's up top, but it's our top 16. That's going to be the bubble spot that we keep our eyes on throughout this season.
Oh, that bubble spot's going to be the fun area to watch for sure, Sam. It's going to be changing. And, we see the picture right now, but this thing is about to get shook up. First real test here tonight. And like you said, yeah, Vince sort of comes in with that points lead with that win. But don't put it past the rest of these drivers who could steal a win. I mean, look at Ryan Ferraro. I don't even see him on this board right now. So literally he's on pole position. This could be the start of something for someone like him. So this is a very important night, and we can see this board shuck up a lot when we come back next week.
As we bounce out of our point standings, get ready to take a look at how the schedule is for the Trinity Racing League presented by Lariat Productions. You can see here, 2 races have been, 3 races completed, one being the Clash, then the Duels, and then we had last week at Daytona International Speedway. Pole sitter went to Cody Reed, victory went to Vincent Sora. But there's going to be a lot of changes moving forward as we've got here tonight at Atlanta. We head to Homestead for race number 5, technically 3 of the schedule for points. Iowa and Kentucky going to be the races ahead of us. I'm excited to see what this schedule has, especially on the fact that we've got 2 mile and a halves in a row, and then we go to a short track, and then we're right back to the mile and a half. So it seems like that seems to be a favorite start for the Trinity Racing League.
That does seem to be that way, Sam. And I think that'll give us a good picture, too, of what to expect, who to watch out for, and really what to know coming throughout the season. So definitely a good little mix-up and a good little collage of some good tracks there for sure. I'm excited to see how all these drivers make it through those next couple races.
I'll take a closer picture. Who are drivers to look out for? Well, here are 3 from our point of view. Entering here tonight, we made our pick'ems. Who are some drivers we feel like could be winners, storyline drivers, or just drivers that we want to give a little bit of spotlight to? I'm going to give my spotlight driver to Justin Campbell in the 66. He qualifies 16th here tonight. He's a driver that I am expecting some big things from. Could be a threat if he shows up for every race this season to make the chase. Make the playoffs. Watch out for the 66 here tonight as he'll try to transform his season and start moving in the right direction. Zach, who is your driver to watch out for here tonight?
Well, I'm going to go with a little bit of past history, and I'm going to go with the 67 Larry Yingling. I think this 67 kind of done an ISRC the last time they were here at this older surface, and I think maybe that could carry over here to tonight and give him some confidence. So let's see what Larry Yingling can do if he can bounce back from a tough finish at Daytona last week.
And our 3rd member of our group, again, Robert Moyer Jr. running production in the background. He's going to pick the 3 of Thomas Green. Not a bad choice. This 3 machine has been finding a lot of good speed. A lot of the drivers he's working with have been quick as well, as we'll see with Thomas Green and his teammates, Danny Cochran, Vincent Sora, Jacob Morris, have here this evening. Well, that's going to be our 3 drivers of note to watch out for here tonight. Zach, again, Ryan Ferraro grabbing the pole. Shocker. I'm curious. We've got over 40 now, 2 drivers that have registered up for tonight's race. We got a lot of drivers out there. What are you expecting in these 140 laps? Again, no stage break. There's a bonus point for whoever's leading at the halfway of this race, which will be at the end of lap 70. But with 140 laps, there's a lot of time to make mistakes and also make some great climbs.
That's for sure. Yeah, there's definitely plenty of time. And like you said, with no stage breaks or anything guaranteed, it makes the start of these races very interesting, in my opinion, because you don't know what to expect as a driver. If you have a stage break at 40, you kind of have that benchmark to say, okay, well, I can do whatever I want because it can save me at 40. I know that caution's going up. Right now, these drivers are unsure of that, Sam, and they're going to have what they want planned here early to do, because quickly that plan can go wrong because you have a caution pop up naturally, and next thing you know, you're coming to pit road. So these drivers are going to be definitely decisions of saving all over the board and going for track position right off the get-go.
As we are finishing up our warm-ups, race 2 of the season officially about to get started here tonight. Again, it's your Trinity Racing League presented by Lariat Productions. Race number 2, the Jones Paint and Designs 140 here this evening. And the driver that's going to be starting on the right side here for race number 2 is going to be your Blazing Fast TV pole sitter. Head on over to Blazing Fast TV on Twitch and YouTube. Looking for a chill, relaxing stream? Well, then race on over to Blazing Fast TV. To see live POVs from Dakota Moniz and his races, drop a follow and a subscription, and stay up to date when he goes live. For also see some of the great content that Dakota posts on Blazing Fast TV. We also want to say thank you to our grid sponsor, Orchid Ink Tattoo Studios. Follow Orchid Ink Tattoo Studios on Instagram for your one-stop shop for custom full-colored tattoos, stickers, paints, and more. Thank you so much to the amazing sponsors. As your Blazing Fast TV pole sitter will be Ryan Ferraro, starting to his outside on row number 1. It will also be the 17 of Chris Stitz. In row number 2, in third, we find the 3 machine. This is Robert's pick, Thomas Green, with a great start for himself. A friend of Thomas Green, rivals and not allies anymore on teammates wise. It's going to be Jared Talmadge to his outside in 4th. The 02 of Danny Cochran will be starting in 5th with Jacob Morris, a great qualifying time for the 23. He'll start 6th. 7th is the 30 of Ryan Kelly. Ollie Fonseca will be back in 8th. 9th is Cedric Hunter and Jackson Anderson. Even with this spill on his final lap, that first one was quick enough to place him in 10th.
Points leader in last week's winner, Vincent Sorter, going to start from the 11th position. Alongside him in the 80th, Justin Sipes. My pick tonight, starting in 13th, is going to be the 67 of Larry Yingling. Alongside him in 14th, it's the 85 of Samuel Garcia. Isaac Shelley going to start in the 15th position with Sam's pick tonight in the 66, starting back here in 16th. Cody Reed in the 88, last week's pole setter, going to start back in 17th. 18th is going to be Joshua Kanata. 19th is going to be the 86 of Owen Hicks. And rounding out the top 20, it's the 01 of Aaron Crawley.
In 21st, we find the 1 machine of Joshua Stovall, fan favorite out there. We'll see how the 1 can move his way forward. In 22nd position, we find the 87 of Gary Wells. Dakota Moniz, your Blazing Fast TV driver. He'll be all the way back in 23rd position for the 5. And 24th is the 14 of Jesse Thornock. What an incredible run last week at Daytona. He's going to try to capitalize on that run. 25th, it's the 38 of Christopher Norris. Michael Miller will be back in 26th position. Ethan Smith in 27th. Malik Kuntz in the 33 will start in 28th. 29th is the 44 of Mark Lavertone. And finishing out our top 30, it's the 84 of Austin Halsey.
Starting 31st is the 21 of Nicholas Renner. Alongside him, newcomer, it's the 77 of Isaac Reimer. 33rd is going to be the 49 of Ryan Byrd. 34th is going to be the 2 of Stephen Clapp. 35th is going to be the 8 of Noah Steele. In 36th is going to be the 22 of Ian Delaire. 37th is going to go to the 6 of Justice Smith. The 28 of Tyler Horner is going to start in 38th. 39th is going to be Mason Cassidy. 40th, Martin Morales. 41st, Cody Smith. And rounding out our 42 cars, it looks like lining up here tonight, is Travis Downing.
All 42 drivers get to race here tonight. If we had more than 43, then we would have had some knockout qualifying. Not going to be the case for here tonight. It's going to be the 08 Atlanta at Echo Park. We're excited for it. 140 laps here this evening. Halfway, going to be at the end of lap 70. Whoever's leading at that halfway marker will get 1 extra bonus point. No fast repairs, 4 extra sets of tires in pit road. And the field knows it is about to be go time here this evening. Always talk about the fact of it's hot Lanza. It is scorching out there on track. Air temperature 86, track temp 135, a wind, a breeze barely noted. We'll see how this track temp cools off. Does it get any hotter? It's time to see as the Jones Paint and Designs 140 is underway. Ryan Ferraro, Chris Stitz, and the rest of the field roar down into turn number 1.
Looks like Ferraro a little bit late on the gas there. He's going to slide back because actually Chris Stitz in the 17 is going to take the lead there on the bottom, and along with Thomas Green as they slide on them cold tires off the exit of 2.
Cold tires, hot track. It's going to be difficult to keep your footing here early on. That dirty air might help for some, but currently it's Chris Stitz trying to lead lap number 1. Thomas Green, he'll take that quick pass for himself as the purple, green, and white number 02 with the Danny Cochran in 4th place will follow in suit as well as that 1 bonus point goes to Stitz. The start here tonight, pretty clean by Thomas Green. Tempting a different lane, he'll go all the way up to the outside wall, looking for a massive run. And with Ryan Ferraro slipping and sliding down to that white line, it's the 3 taking advantage as Ferraro continues to falter back after that incredible pull time.
Incredible qualifying, but unfortunately just a little bit of a sloppy start for the 10, but he'll be able to gather up as we got a battle for the lead. The 3 has found the speed. Green took it to the top of the boards in 1 and 2, and we saw it down in 3 and 4 also, and he was able to find the speed to get alongside on exit. And now Sam, he might have the opportunity to take full control here down the back straightaways as Stitt's going to slide back to second.
Your fastest lap sponsor is sponsored by Hot Lap Designs. Hot Lap Designs offering you some great quality visual graphics if needed, as well as iRacing paint schemes. Head on over to Hot Lap Designs today to see what they can design for you. And Thomas Green puts down that fastest lap, ripping the top. And this 3 machine, I mean, attempting early on to utilize that top groove and just proving it's very useful. But for how long can you utilize that lane? It looks like for the 3, instead of ripping the top, he's going right down to that first seam and running coming up that middle groove. With this progressive banking on all these different lines you can see on the track, I mean, Zach, this is giving drivers a lot of different options that in the past, it used to feel like just one lane was the only way you could go around.
That's exactly right, Sam. Sometimes it always felt like you had to run the bottom just to keep the tires underneath you. So it is going to be interesting to see these drivers who have took that opportunity to go up to the top, carry that speed up there. Can they keep the momentum? Can they keep the rubber underneath them as the run continues on? As you see Jarrett Talmadge here and Jacob Morris having a nice little battle here for the top 5 as Morris goes slot in there right in front of Ferraro as he could barely fit that car in between them, but he's going to now slide up to the top of the groove. So everybody looking to maybe get to that right rear as we drop back here to check in Ali Fonseca in 9th, right ahead of our points leader, Vincent Sora.
Yeah, and these guys are having a nice little gentle breeze of a drive, I would say. Our whole entire top 15, pretty single filed out. It's around 19th on back where things have been getting very chaotic. They were 3 wide at one moment, now going to be 2 wide. Let's try to stack 3 wide once again. And it's the 01 trying to rip the top of Aaron Kralik, making that Navy machine look quick on the outer groove and just blitzing his way forward. Also going to be Sean Stovall, Cody Reed in that AMP 88 machine, kind of a throwback to Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s old days when he was running at Hendrick. And seeing these drivers attempting different moves and passes, the middle of the pack is looking like the Hornets' nest currently. Zach is up front. They're still single file out and trying to take things a little bit more gentle, you could say.
That's for sure, yeah. It definitely is like, 3 different agendas going around. You had the leaders up front kind of going forward. You had that middle pack kind of riding, and then the farther back group trying to battle forward. But you can see right here, it looks like center Connor Isaac Shelley having quite a battle here as Shelley's going to look to go around the outside, even behind that Kanata. He was able to make the move around Larry Yingling, who slides back to 14th as Nolan Hicks maybe looks for his opportunity to take it to the inside of the 67. So definitely some different agendas going on. You can see some drivers willing to kind of roll back, give up some spots. We'll see if that comes back to help them, or will they get stuck? It's always the age-old question of track position over tires.
Yeah, I mean, will there be a swing at any moment? I know back 3-4 years ago with the old tire model, it was really you could be aggressive for about 5 to 10 laps, and then you would fall off a cliff, and those that were protecting their tires would reemerge and really tackle on the long run. Here tonight, we're starting to see the drivers in our top 8 really starting to pull away this middle pack. I mean, they look like they're racing all over the place, looking hectic, but it's more of just placing yourself in the right position to start saving if you can. As Michael Miller in that 99 trying to rip the top, not able to do so. He'll stay behind the 67 Larry Yingling as Yingling, Campbell, Miller all trying to find their footing of how to move forward just outside of the top 15. Up front, still single filed out, but a driver is on the move. That's Danny Cochran, who's now moved up to 2nd place after getting forward and up now 3 positions from where he started. Another driver that's up front starting to make some big moves, up 6 spots in 6th position. That's Justin Sipes. Great job for himself. Started 12th and already just outside of the top 5.
Definitely some good movement going around from a lot of this field as we check back up here on that 80 of Sipes, who was running the top at one moment, but now onto the inside here of our pole setter Ryan Ferraro looking for that 6th position. As you can see that top 3, kind of a little gap there for him back to Morris, who's in that 4th position ahead of Talmadge. But Danny Cochran definitely the one, like you said, who's
trouble
moving
up front.
forward.
It's going to be the 21 of Nicholas Renner and others slipping and sliding through the grass, and multiple drivers involved. They're still wrecking around. And our first caution of the day is out here on lap number 11 as the 21 of Renner looked to be trying to get aggressive off the exit of turn 4, and it just went awry quickly as the 21 and also the 87 making some slight contact. That's Gary Wells that we're battling for 21st position.
Yeah, and it looks like, Ritter just run out of room here on the exit off of 4 and just kind of misjudged it maybe a little bit. Maybe felt like he could keep the car a little lower, but, as he hit that wall, he came off that wall ricocheting and just couldn't hold on to that race car. As the others behind, unfortunately, get clipped by it. I believe it was, again, Samuel Garcia, but I believe he got
clipped going through the grass, and then Samuel Garcia going to be sliding back ahead. I believe he also is going to get close to the 5, Dakota Moniz. Dakota was trying to get around the incident. Contact, a few other drivers also ARCA breaking their way through, and here's going to be Justin Smith's point of view for the 6th machine as he was trying to find his opening to get by. They'll have the 84 of Austin Halsey to his outer groove. They'll be side by side here, and Garcia slides up, and there's just nowhere to go for the 6 as he had the 84 to his outside.
Tough break and just, heavy damage for all included parties there. I believe the 85 had to take a tow. The 60, the 6 there, you can see his engine smoking. That's going to be major engine damage. So a lot of hurt race cars right there early in the going here at Atlanta. And we're seeing also some pit strategy here. Looks like a few drivers taking advantage of coming to pit road here early.
Yeah, those drivers going to be Jackson Anderson, Christopher Norris, just going to top off on fuel. Larry Yingling, your pick, Zach, going to be taking tires and fuel. He's going to be one of the first drivers to attempt to take tires here. And he'll start back in 33rd position. And, been watching a lot of next-gen racing recently, and the new tire model and physics with those cars. Taking tires now would kind of put you in a really bad spot to try to move forward. But with this B car, otherwise known as the Xfinity vehicle, I'm curious on how tire wear is going to change from what we've seen a lot here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, because tire wear seems to be something that we've kind of lost in the past, where new tires weren't able to really climb their way forward.
Yeah, tell me about it, Sam. It's definitely been a huge topic of discussion with that next-gen car. Are tires even worth it at some point? So I think you see the choose happening here. The drivers having to go on the logo to pick where they want to go inside or outside. But I think it could be interesting with him taking tires. I'm looking at the fall off. Our leader up front, Thomas Trinity, ran his fastest lap of the race there on lap 2 when he took that lead there, 31.81. That lap before we got the caution was a 33.17. So we were already seeing about a second to almost a second and a half of fall off. So it is definitely a considerable amount. If this goes green, Yingling could use that to his advantage for sure. He's going to be really far back now, of course, in 33rd. But we'll get to see if that usage of those tires will really help propel him forward.
Zach, I think this might be a first for me. I thought there was a cap on the amount of heat that you could put in the track temp. We are past what I thought that cap was. I thought the cap was 135. It was as hot that track could get. We're at 138 degrees is the track temp currently. Oh boy, get ready for this restart. If the tires are already worn off this much, this restart could be dramatic if there's any wheel spin up front. The new tires further on back could get rewarded greatly, and it's time to see what type of chaos is about to be upon us as your Trinity Racing League, presented by Lariat Productions, about to be back underway into the restart zone. And the Joe boy, Danny Cochran with a big slide, as there was the slip and slide I was curious about that we were going to see. And Danny goes from second, now almost outside. He is outside of the top 10. And this isn't over just yet. These cold tires that have just worn down, the track heating up, the exit of 2 could just be as dramatic as the 3 wide further on back. The Jones Paint Design 140. Woo, boy, these restarts going to be fun if we have any more cautions moving forward.
Oh, that's for sure, Sam. We already see that the tires are just 8 away. Danny Cochran had confidence there to get on the gas, and he about nosed it into the fence there. Great job to save it, but you could tell it irritated those tires, couldn't get it going through 1 and 2, and he just fell well outside the top 10 back to 16th. So that 02 going to have to definitely capitalize from that, but the battle up front is lingering. Chris Stitz, who gave the lead up to the 3 of Thomas Green at one point, he was looking to the inside, and I feel like the 17 might have been playing the cat and mouse game of trying to save his stuff.
Maybe trying to save it. Jacob Morris also could be a driver to watch out for, as well as Ryan Kelly. They weren't pushing those tires as quickly, but right on board with Chris Stitz. Let's get a sense of what these hands are like as the driver offset. That is how off the center line is. You see that yellow-red strip that's supposed to be the center of your steering wheel. Sometimes it's off-center to help with the cornering, sometimes help with the straightaways. And this 17 is never having that line pointed directly straight. Offset, pretty ridiculous to be seen. Also, what's ridiculous is we're riding on board with a 17. Larry Yingling has just went from 33rd to now 17th, 16th position in just 3, now make it 4 laps. He is flying with the new tires. Yingling should have the lead here if he keeps it out of trouble in the next 4 laps or so.
You know, it's crazy, Sam. It's almost, we've gotten so used to the new tires, the new, everything that happens with these other cars that have gotten updated, that maybe some people have been lulled into the factor of, that 15 laps isn't that much anymore. And we get to remember the old days where, 10 to 15 laps on a set of tires was a huge advantage. And right now, Yingling is definitely showing that, as this is, again, one of the least updated cars in iRacing when it comes to, what they are, currently.
Yeah, and watching this is crazy to watch. He's already inside of the top 10. Again, that last restart that we just had a few laps ago, Yingling was 33rd. He's now almost up to 5th. This is incredible. And this is what we love to see, is these old vehicles, the old updates. It just gave you these magical runs where you just, like I used to call it for the longest time, felt like Superman on the fact that you could just drive through the field. And if we stay clean and green, is in the wall, it's going to be Morris. Big slide, tap, wiggle, still trying to hold on, and will hold on. What a save by Morris, as the rest of the field still tries to track their way by that 23. As Yingling's about to take the lead in a blink of an eye. This is a time where if we stay clean and green, Yingling is going to have the biggest advantage with having the fresh tires, with having the fuel. But if we get a caution, Yingling only has 3 extra sets of tires in pit road to work with for the rest of this race. This could put the 67 in a worst case scenario. 3 wide, cross the line, and away he goes. Yingling is now in the lead.
What a moment. Like you said, Sam, it creates these magical superhuman moments where you get to see someone fly through the field like that, like the rest of the field is stuck to a pole. Yingling has already built a half a second gap, so we'll see if he can capitalize and continue to grow the gap. Like you said, a caution would derail things for him. He wants this thing to go as green as far as possible to get later in this race where those set of tires will come back to him. If we get a good long green run here and we get a caution late before we even come to pit road, it'll still won't be too bad of a case for him because of how many laps they put down. If we get a caution within the next 10 to 15, though, that is where the issue really plays out for the 67. He's not going to be wanting to come down and put another set on.
That was exciting to watch, but we do have some updates, and some of the drivers caught up in wrecks to bring out our first caution of the day. Still in pit road is Justin Smith. He's most likely done for the night. Samuel Garcia still in pit road. Dakota Moniz has left the server. He might be our first official DNF of the night. The driver who sat in pit road the longest, who is now back out on track, was Nicholas Renner. He took a set of tires, but he's got so much damage, he is struggling to move forward currently, but is now going to be up to 24th position for the 21. Just showing, even with fresh rubber, it is still a struggle for this 21 to move forward because of the damage that he picked up. This field continues to race on, 23 laps so far in, and big note for the drivers, cloud coverage has hit. And that has helped the track temp dramatically. We're now down to 130 is now the temp. What a swing for the track that these drivers are racing on.
It is quite a swing, and I can tell you what, Sam, it has been something updated lately with the allowance of how much temperature can build up, because I've seen sessions that have hit 145. So it is possible to get that far even. I don't know if we'll get there tonight, tonight during this session, but it is definitely a track that is very reactive when it comes to clouds too. It can change the balance of this track very severely from one moment to the next with a cloud just coming over the surface.
See Nicholas Renner getting close, almost squeezed into contact there. Cody Reed trying to make his way forward. Lenny Reed usually out there in chat, rooting for his son. Cody Reed, this 88, looked so incredibly fast over our 3-week Daytona spree that we had with the Clash, the duels, and then last week the official race. This 88 obviously trying his hand to be a little bit more quicker here at the 1.5 mile intermediate courses, and we've seen when Cody has the opportunity to try some big risk, big gamble moves with tires, he's willing to take it in the next gen car. But with seeing these Xfinity vehicles, it's a little bit harder for him to get back up front. Currently runs in 17th position, but watching some great drivers ahead of him that he's going to try to stick with if possible.
Right here looking to the outside of Hicks and trying to just find some air and a good roll there. That's going to allow him to get right on that quarter panel. So great job by Cody Reed to set that up, and now we'll see Cedric Hunter to the next car ahead of him, and we'll be looking maybe to get to that right rear quarter panel. When you get on someone's right rear quarter panel, it's just so tough for that race car to turn. So that is a grade A job to get passes done, and Reed doing it well now. He's going to possibly look to the inside of that Hello Kitty machine.
I'm not trying to put out a curse or anything. I know we have the commentators curse, but I'm watching some of the drivers throughout this field. There's a handful of them that I've been watching getting looser and looser each and every time I go around this track. And Zach, we're only 27 laps into this run. I know drivers would love to stretch this out to lap 40 or so. I'm concerned that we might not even get to that point. As you see the battle ahead of Ryan Kelly, that's Thomas Green, Jared Talmadge. They are almost door banging one another off the exit of turn 4, just trying to pass one another. Talmadge has been trying the inside groove, but he's losing so much grip, trying to just force the 3 higher and higher, but off the exits where they're almost colliding each and every time.
Wow, these two definitely going at it. And I tell you what, down there in 3 and 4 that last time, they were leaning on each other. You couldn't put much room between them. Again, right here, again, look, there's going to be a little contact. And, man, I tell you what, they're racing each other really hard. That is early to be doing that, and it can only lead to dangerous things. But, hey, these guys, they know how to race each other. They've raced each other for a long time, and we'll get to see if they can keep it clean while leaning on each other like that.
I mean, the drivers that have been teammates in multiple different leagues now splitting away here for the Trinity Racing League to try their different fates, and Jared Talmadge trying his best at this moment. Update on the 21 of Nicholas Renner, bounces off the wall, exited 2 the lap before, has now gone into pit road, trying to get some damage repaired for himself. Hate to see that for the 21, who we know can be quick, but it's the luck and survivability that has been the issue for this 21 in multiple different leagues that he races in. As we take a look at Isaac Reimer, who's attempting to try to get this 77. His best way forward currently runs in 29th position, racing against Mark Morales, another one of those drivers that missed out on Daytona last week and having his debut race of the season.
Definitely a lot of these drivers looking to make the most of it here in Atlanta, and right now just making laps at this point and trying to survive this. Ooh, a little bit loose, I think, there for the 9 of Morales as he entered that corner. You can see the tailpipes flashing the fire because him letting off that accelerator and that unburnt fuel burning on the tailpipe. So that is definitely a huge moment on the entry there for him.
As they continue to race back and forth, Jesse Thornock, what a Daytona run to start the season off for the 14. Not the race that he was hoping for here this evening, a little bit further back than I think you would hope. Still early on, as we still have over 110 laps to go here this evening as Mark Morales into the outside wall on the entry. And I'm seeing a couple of drivers that are trying their best to set up for clean air, set up for that outside run, and brushing the wall on entry, both 1 and turn 3, hoping to not get too much into those walls is going to be the key of those drivers. But trouble ahead, battling for the drivers for 15th. It's Michael Miller who gets into the outside wall. He's going to stay high, seeing drivers sneak on by. But a hard contact for the 99 machine that was racing around Cedric Hunter. The 2 pink machines getting very close, and it's the 99 that takes the brunt of it.
Yeah, I think that is going to be a little bit of contact from the 13 here. This will be interesting. So Miller there looks like maybe trying to pull a slide job. I don't think it happens down here off of 4. I think it's happening there too. You see Miller almost sliding up in front of the 13 there off the travel. The 13 here going to try to stay ahead of him. I think Miller's going to see he's going to send it off into the corner here, slide up the track. And I think he's going to slide up right into the path of Cedric Hunter, but it's going to be contact from the front bumper to the rear bumper. So the 99 did clear him, but it was just such a close clear that it completely wrecked himself pretty much off the nose of that.
Miller goes into pit road. Nicholas Renner has disconnected from the server. We'll see if he tries to get back out there on track as Cedric Hunter currently runs in 15th position, down 6 spots from where he started. Ahead of him, Ryan Ferraro down 13 spots. Our pole sitter kind of struggling at this moment. He's gotten into the outside wall a couple of times as well, but this Hello Kitty machine, Zach, we all know he's going to be a driver to watch out for, trying to make the playoffs. The question is, can he recover after missing the first race of the season? As we fall back and take a look at some of the other newcomers that are out on course, here's Gary Wells, who currently runs in 25th position.
Yeah, running here in 25th, right behind the 38 of Christopher Norris. So these drivers back here. And, you think back here, wow, yeah, running in 25th. These guys are only about a 10th off the leader's pace. I mean, it's so close when it comes to the competition level. And right now, running 25th is only a 10th off. So it is very, very close out here. And right now, Wells is trying to stay ahead of the 08 of Jackson Anderson. It looks like he's starting to reel these couple of drivers up ahead of him.
A couple of more drivers have called it an evening as massive slide there for Wells, who Wells was looking up some of his experience. Driver who, it's trouble in the middle of the track. Mark Labertone for the 44, stuck on the front stretch as he finally comes to a halt. Trouble striking for himself as it's the 44 and the 23 getting into one another off the exit turn number 4. And just trying his best to continue to ride on the outside. But Zach, it's going to be Jacob Morris. Big slide for himself. Big loss of time, but it's once he gets side by side with the 44, this is when everything can go up in smoke so quickly.
That it can. You're going to see here, Labertone trying to carry the speed. It's going to get back to the throttle there, push up the racetrack hard into that wall, bounce off it down into the 23, and then continue to proceed to wreck it down here in the front straightaway. And luckily, nobody else gets involved in it, but Morris, they're having to take a basic maneuver through the grass and a little bit of a drifting maneuver there through 1 and 2. So definitely some damage from the hit he took in the door, but it could have been much worse for that 23 second.
It really could have. Here's another look at it. Jacob Morris, another wild run. He had the massive slide and save earlier in the race, and here's another drive through the grass as Morris trying to make sure he doesn't go back up on track, keeping that steering wheel straight, just letting that car coast on through, and then you're able to have control on where it goes. Another big slide, but keeps it under control as the 23 is going to be pitting with the rest of the field as everyone into pit road. And this is a perfect situation that we talked about that needed to happen for Larry Yingling, as Mark Labertone going on his own adventure for the 44, but everyone able to go into pit road. Zach, this is a big moment for Larry Yingling that's going to take huge advantage for that early tire pickup for himself.
Yeah, he's going to take advantage of that track position. I think the only concern will be for him is the usage of tires already through just the first 40 laps, being on his 3rd set of tires. So that's going to be a concern for him. But again, if this thing stretches out a longer green run at some point, he should be all right with the sets he has. So it's just he doesn't want to see this thing play out into 20 to 30 lap runs and then cautions, because that would be where you're going to want set tires.
We've seen plenty of drivers moving up and down through the field here this evening. One of our biggest movers currently going to be in 18th place. That is the 8 machine of Noah Steele. He currently can be our Whiplash Simcam's biggest mover of the race here, just in 38 laps. Now, we'll get to take another look at that later on, but congratulations to the 8 machine, up 17 spots from where he's at from where he qualified back in 35th position. What a run for himself. Well, drivers get prepared. It's about to be choose time. They currently are underway with choosing. Larry Yingling decided to take the inside row, but here's the rest of the field. They were warned, the whole entire field warned on if you do not choose properly, you could be hit with an end-of-the-line penalty. You also get penalized on how aggressive your mess up or miss was. You could be finding yourself in trouble of being penalized for next race. So curious on how race control, that's Nick Crawford, will deem some of these drivers on where they will be placed. But Zach, 39 laps into this 140 lap race. Certainly this feels like old school iRacing. This is fun to watch. But how are you feeling so far, just 39 laps in?
Yeah, a little bit of a blast from the past, so to say. It definitely takes you back. This is cool to see. These are the closest thing to the older style stock cars we have, technically, from even real life. And these cars, some people say the Saturday show is always the best show when it comes to the racing, and these cars are definitely some very impressive race cars. And it's going to be cool to see how people can figure them out as the season goes along, too. So we'll get to see the rhyme for reason. But I tell you what, some big names up here up front already.
Larry Yingling, Jared Talmadge, Who's willing to take a chance here? Are you willing to be aggressive, or do you wait in the back? And it's going to be the teammates. Great launch for themselves. But the Jones Paint and Designs 140 is back underway. Ryan Kelly, Larry Yingling, Yin Yang Racing is back at it once again as they want to stay 1-2. Moving forward is the 67 and the 30.
What a start. Like you said, Sam, yeah, Yin Yang Racing there, and they did a good job with the choose cone. You know, you can technically take away those little bit of partnerships, but Talmadge, I think, there didn't really probably think that out. And then next thing you know, you got Kelly passing you, but it's going to be stacked up behind him as Talmadge and 3 Thomas Green are going back at it.
They're going back at it. Ryan Kelly aggressively moving up and shutting the door on that outside run. Kind of putting the 30 in a tough position. Jared Talmadge going to really send it on the inside. Ryan Kelly up to the outside wall. Here comes the big run by the 30. He's going to take the hard charge, but is there any space for him to utilize that run? Not going to be it. It's a huge block by Talmadge. Green boxing in the 30, and here comes your winner from last week, Vincent Sora, trying to throw his name into the hat of drivers to watch out for. Isaac Shelley also getting into the mix. Our fastest driver from practice, trying to show his hat and his name out there in 6th position.
Some new names showing their way up here into the top 5, top 10 area, and it's definitely starting to raise that level of anticipation as Kelly that rips the bottom. It's going to be the 15 of Vincent Sora going around the outside, put the 15, the points leader up the 4th. Vincent's starting to show a little bit of muscle.
Drivers attempting some big moves as Ollie Fonseca just got a little small glimpse of that. The 24 almost thrown up into the outside wall with Sipes. Big move for himself. I don't think Ollie was a big fan of that. He'll try to utilize the momentum on the outside to pick and choose. Does he want to go middle? Does he want to go high? He'll choose the inside following the 30 of Kelly as they continue to go back and forth. Where do you want to place yourself? And it's the 3 and the 27 once again up front, battling for 2nd position. I look through the rest of the field, Zach, the middle of the pack. They seem to be a lot more calm than they were in that initial run. All the chaos is up front, really.
Yeah, I think maybe that middle pack saying, you know, maybe we could save a little tire while these guys up front here do get out, and maybe we'll take a little advantage of that. So, you know, when you get that first run under your feet, that first tire run, you kind of can judge what you need to do different. I think with just the style I'm seeing so far from people farther back, they're saying, I want some better tires because at the end they were struggling.
Yeah, it's so interesting seeing the guys. This is the battle currently in the middle of the pack. This is battling for 16th, 17th, 18th. Noah Steele in the 88 of Cody Reed and the 13 of Cedric Hunter. All trying to stay low, stay close to that first seam of the black line. While up front, they're all ripping the top. They're staying high. They're trying to maximize their speed and keep the track position. It's interesting to see all the different mentalities that go on. Here's the one of Joshua Stovall. Stovall, we saw on Monday nights previously on the ISRC Truck Series, a driver willing to be aggressive at the bigger courses. Here in the 1.5 miles, seeing a lot more tire wear being the factor. Curious on how he's going to change things up. It's trouble further on back. It's going to be the 84 of Austin Halsey, Gary Wells. They get into it with one another. We stay green for now, but slow and chaos for the 84 and 87 as we continue to stay green on lap 46 so far.
And that is heavy nose damage on the 87 machine. And like you said, that was kind of out of nowhere there, and I think off of 2 it was, like you said, the contact between the 84 and the 87 at Austin Halsey and Gary Wells here. So tough break. Wells ended up into the wall, and I mean, even Halsey with the hit they had, he flew in the air for a moment. So it was heavy contact, and Halsey continued on. So he at the moment is managed to keep that car off a good road.
Bad luck striking for some of these drivers, as seeing the 08 of Danny Cochran and also the 17 of Chris Stitz. They're having their duel as everyone in the middle of the pack, they continue to have their back and forth going on. A lot of radio conversation for that 15th on back battle of Noah Steele, Christopher Norris, Cody Reed, and Cedric Hunter. They were getting pretty rowdy over the radio. And with the way that these vehicles are snapping loose at times, you're rushing up to that outside wall. I mean, that communication is going to be key, but reactionary calls, they're just as useful as someone saying high or low.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, sometimes that's your best friend is out there having the communication. So everybody seeming to use that, but they've got it single file for the time being. But it looks like Norris a little slow there as Jacob Moore's underneath him. His old car, they're farther back. Cody Smith is spinning on the back straightaway. He's locked it down. I think he'll keep it going.
Cody Smith off the exit of the corner. trying to keep it out of trouble, but spins off the nose of the 22 of Ethan Delaire. And the 22 back in 28th position. He just has been trying to keep this nose out of trouble and has the 7 just swipe across. Again, we continue to stay green. But interesting to see some of these spins and wrecks proving on the backstretch. If you're spinning below the white line, that apron will not throw a yellow, even with oncoming traffic. So if you're going to have a wreck, then you need a caution. You better be on the racing surface. Otherwise, it will be caution-free.
That's for sure, yeah. That is a thing that's coded into each track that is each individual to its own. So it can definitely have its moments that ruin races and also help races. So we've seen here in Atlanta, though, that back straightaway, you get down there and the caution ain't coming out, though. So right now, watching a lot of the good racing going on, is it looks like Jackson Anderson here in the 08, right ahead of Ethan Delaire here back in 28th and 29th. Is they got Ryan Bird also a little bit ahead of him in 27th. So a lot of this grouping about 5 seconds off the lead up front. Kind of most of the field single filed out for the time being.
And I'm kind of shocked by a few of these drivers that are further on back. Ryan Bird, Jackson Anderson, I was expecting these guys to be fighting inside of the top 15 here this evening. I know for Anderson, he decided to take that early pit stop, qualified 10th place, but took the early pit stop for a fuel mileage run and really hasn't moved forward. Ryan Bird, on the other hand, qualified poorly, hasn't really been able to move up, is just taking the positions of drivers wrecking ahead of him, and is 49, trying to find a way to get the Orchid Inc. Studios machine moving forward, but obviously the speed's just not there for Ryan Bird, or maybe it could be a strategy call, but currently runs all the way back in 27th position.
It definitely is a little bit of head scratcher. You would expect to see Bird a little farther up, but you know, the transition to these cars sometimes from car to car is difficult for some guys, and I know myself struggle in certain vehicles while other guys really excel in other ones. So it is definitely just kind of driving style, how it fits. And I think as the season goes on, you'll see a lot of these guys adapt and get farther up the grid. So I don't expect to see them too far back for too long.
As the field continues to race on, here's a few other drivers trying to find a way to move forward. Here's Nolan Hicks in the Taco Bell 86 machine, trying to find a way. Hey, where else can I find some speed? Just outside of the top 10, he's got Aaron Kralik in the L1 behind him. And these are two drivers where, you know, a few years ago, we talked about Nolan Hicks finding speed that could be a winner each and every week. Aaron Kralik had some sneaky pace at certain tracks, and here tonight, brand new car for a lot of the field, and we're seeing drivers that we used to call as, hey, they could be front runners or sneaky top 5 finish drivers. They're re-emerging once again for a chance for a great finish, as Nolan Hicks as well as Kralik trying to pick and choose which lane they want to place themselves, as Stovall ahead of them. They're watching some drivers that were having issues in the later run, showing issues once again. That's the 02 Danny Cochran in that purple and white and green machine, as well as the 30 of going to be Ryan Kelly. Both drivers wiggling a lot more off the exit of the corner. I'm nervous for the both of them.
Oh, Sipes there, big moment for him off the 4. That's going to slide him a little farther back towards Kelly. So this group really all stacked up, and what's amazing, they've all migrated, Sam, right to the wall. Every single one of them here in 1 and 2, and it's very interesting to see because there's a different subject farther back, because a lot of people are in the bottom in the farther back group. Up front, everybody against that wall 1 and 2, but Yingling still running lower in 3 and 4.
Yeah, and that was, you know, looking back at our old notes of how we used to call the races in the day, it was you could run the outside, you could be quick. How long the tires would last was the big question. Sometimes it was only good for 5 laps. Sometimes it was good for 20 laps, but there was a cliff where those tires would fall off. If you're running on the inside groove, you might take that, you know, giving away quick early pace, but you're going to get rewarded later on in the long run. And I think some of the drivers might be feeling, hey, we've already seen a couple of quick cautions come out after a 10, 15 lap run. That could be the trend for the rest of the night. So let's be aggressive, take the track position, and burn these tires down. But now we're getting to that tricky spot of, well, you got to be careful of overcooking your tires. If Mark Laverton will stay high, the rest of the field, they're going to have to drop low as the 44 into the outside wall once again. But the front pack able to get by as Kelly tries to take advantage as everyone checking up on the outside groove.
It is stacking up here, Sam. I think Larry Yingling up front starting to get a little bit tight, and I don't know if he's trying to maybe stack the group up or just starting to maybe struggle with the tire wear just a little bit, but he has been doing everything he can to keep that 27's momentum back, and it's been working so far. But there's been a few opportunities where the 27 has had a run, just hasn't been able to fully take advantage of that run yet. So this is definitely starting to heat up, and a little farther back, Sipes and Shelley almost made contact. This is Vincent Sora gets tapped, and somehow he drifts the entry and saves that thing. That was amazing driving right there.
It should have been a wreck, but it does not, as Sipes continues to wiggle and slide off the exit of the corner of Vincent Sora. And with all these drivers that were stacked trying to run the outside groove, they just tapped into one another, and one small tap into one another just continues to grow as that accordion effect starting to whiplash back. But you can see those hands from Sipes. Everyone is just seesawing that wheel back and forth, trying to keep this vehicle under control while it's on the thinnest lines, a margin of mistake to reward.
This is great driving right here. This is what we love to see smoke farther up ahead with a few cars. I don't know exactly who it is. Looks like Ethan Dallaire and Mark Labertones. They're coming up here quickly to the pack. Labertone's got to get down. He does, as they'll be coming to pit road here most likely, but don't know exactly what happened to them, but that is definitely a scary moment. Oh, that was a big wreck.
It was a bizarre wreck that happened back for last place, where Ethan Dallaire was trying to bump draft a very slow Mark Labertone, and after the bump drafting, caught up into Stephen Clapp, and a lot of smoke, heavy damage for Dallaire, also for Labertone, and the two machine Clapp continues to race on, but Dallaire required damage for 22 is heading into pit road. Just a bizarre wreck of last place drivers, lap down drivers getting into one another.
And it was now Vincent Sora. He's going to venture to the bottom. Looks like try to slide up, but just couldn't clear the 3. We'll see if he can make work do down here, but also look at the 3 of Thomas Scott. He's going to let him in. So Green backing out there, letting the 15 in, but look at this. He's going to try to slide behind the 27 with the 27 checking up, though he couldn't. So now 3 wide with Sipes sliding up on the bottom here. This is some great racing here from Atlanta.
And I'm not surprised by it. It's Copper Still Racing teammates. That's Thomas Green, Vincent Sora trying to give each other space, but sometimes that can backfire if you're being too careful with one another. That you can give opportunities to the other drivers, but Vincent Sora driving it down with Green giving the space for the 15 to move up if he wants. It's now giving them a chance to fight this 27 as Vincent Sora attempts once again that hazy filter. That's drivers that have blown their engines in pit road, and the smoke has just trickled over onto the racing surface. But Zach, I mean, this is crazy to see these drivers. It's going to be our top 13, all within a second and a half of one another. But the top 5 are the ones that are giving us the best show currently.
That they are. This is amazing to watch so far. And Atlanta, just an amazing surface that puts on quite a show. And what's crazy to say is, from first all the way back to 13th, it's only a second and a half separating this group. These guys are brawling right now, and this is some great races. Sifan Saika, the last car of this group. So the top 13th, all just right on one top of another.
And you can kind of see, I mean, watching the drivers off the exit of the corner from this aerial shot, you can see drivers that are wiggling off the exit of the corner, those that look stable. And those that were stable are the drivers that were fighting back in 15th to 16th on the inside, trying to stay on that white line as long as possible. They are being rewarded here, as this has been almost a 25-lap green flag run that we've been able to have so far. This field has been giving us quite a show at this moment. And with everyone on equal footing on tires, I mean, Zach, you touched on the fact of how much there was a fall off on tires before, just under 10 laps. This is wild looking at the numbers. It is almost 2-second difference, almost a 3-second at times for some drivers further on back compared to their best lap times they put on earlier in the race.
Yeah, this is the fall off that everyone begs for. This is what we all want to see in the racing, because it really allows the people to, make something of these tires. I mean, yeah, we are in a line right here, riding around here, trying to everybody make passes, but at the same time, these drivers are willing these things. They're really having to drive and stay on top of these cars, because if you have one moment where you get behind, you're going to quickly find out that you messed up. So it is definitely fun to watch so far. And right now, the tires just melting away.
As we are almost to our SG Racing halfway bonus for the driver that is leading at the halfway. Currently, that's Larry Yangling that would love to get that one extra bonus point for himself. Vincent Sora grabbed the first bonus point of the season last week at Daytona. I was under unique situations that I talked to the admins. They kind of forgot about in a way of if there's a caution, would you give that bonus point? And it's whoever is leading at the time of the end of that run is going to be the driver that gets that bonus point. Will officially be told who got it from race control, being Nick Crawford. But if you're wanting to check out more drivers' point of views, if you're looking for fun, relatable sim racing content, head on over to SG_racing, as you can go check out Samuel Garcia's point of view on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitch. Again, that's SG_racing. And thank you for being our halfway sponsor as more drivers heading into pit road. Malik Kuntz, Travis Downing going to get early service. And I'm curious for those that are pitting now, how well will you get advantage-wise on pitting at this moment? Because this is going to be a huge difference as more drivers showing signs of heading to pit road and those that are further on back.
This is definitely getting to an interesting point of the run, because this is about the farthest we've been on a set of tires, especially consistently a set of tires. So 30 straight laps on them, and they're wearing out. And the question is, when you're going to want to bring this thing to pit road? How far can you stretch it on fuel? I think you're going to want to stretch as far as you can, but can these drivers do it? That's the question. We've seen so much fall off already. We know that the tires have to be hurting. Look right there. Already seen a pit. It looks like Cody Reed going to be the first one to bite. So that 88 machine taking it no more than 30 laps on these tires. That is wild already to see.
That's the first driver inside of our top 20 to hit pit road. Other drivers have pitted as well. Those being Jacob Morris, Malik Kuntz, Isaac Reimer, as well as Travis Downing, going to get their service done. Tires, fuel, back out on track. Question is, who else will join them? As we're about to be starting our last lap, as Cedric Hunter and co. Thought for a moment maybe they'd be thinking about pit road this lap or the next. But Larry Yingling going to be starting lap 70. This is the last lap of the first half. And try to go for your halfway bonus, sponsored by SG_racing. Yingling is looking to be solid at this moment as the 67 continues to be leading at this time. Drivers over the radio making the call. They're going to be heading to pit road. That's going to be Austin Halsey, a few other drivers trying to give a quick note that this is their lap. And up front, Yingling going to be the second driver to get that halfway bonus. Congratulations to the 67, as that is your halfway bonus for Yingling.
Good job by Larry Yingling to utilize that early pit stop, putting the tires on. Nobody else willing to do it. He did it. He wasted that set supposedly, but it's played out in track position, and he's kept the lead ever since. So I think he's done a really excellent job to manage once he's gotten out front. And I think he's noticed, don't give this lead up. This is a very valuable position to be in. And the 67, I can tell you, when he makes this car wide and he can position it well, he is a tough one to pass.
As more drivers going to continue to race out there on track, 33 laps. We're expecting more drivers to continue to try to push this run just a little bit further. But for us, I think this might be one of those times where we might take a quick commercial break. We come back, more green flag racing as halfway of 140 laps here tonight for the Trinity Racing League, presented by Larry Art Productions. It's been a fun one. Race 2 of your Jones Paints and Designs 140 here at the OA configuration of Atlanta. If you want to see more racing, don't you worry. We're going to continue to stay side by side so you don't miss a thing. But we'll be back right after this with more Atlanta racing. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we are under caution, right in the middle of two different strategy calls being made. Yellow flag comes out. Larry Yingling able to come into pit road, and over half the field, this caution kind of puts them in a spot where they still have a lot of racing to go, and it's going to make the pit stop a little bit more confusing moving forward. But here's what initially brought out our caution under this long green flag run, our longest of the evening. And it's a battle between the 66 of Justin Campbell and the 00 of Ethan Smith and Zach. I mean, everyone was on edges. We saw Vincent Sora. We'll take another look at Vincent Sora later on after we take this initial look of Ethan Smith. But Zach, I mean, everyone was attempting to be as fast as possible with drivers on new tires, those on old. It just went wrong for a blink of a second there for the 00.
That it did, yeah. Like you said, new tires, old tires, everything was mixed up there, and that created mayhem. Ethan did a good job of making sure he rolled back onto the surface there before so that yellow would come out. But definitely tough break for him there. But, man, he's going to have a lot of damage to get fixed up for that machine. We're going to check out what happened to one of our top 3 drivers in our points leader, Vince Sora. He was kind of flirting with disaster there. You see off the wall for 2, Sam, but down here in 4, this is where things go very quickly wrong for our points leader.
Yeah, we were just looking on the commercial. We were thinking about, all right, when are some of these drivers going to pit? And we looked up on the screen, and here's the 15 just clipping the outside wall, and it just slingshots him to the outside and continues to ricochet off. Luckily, Danny Cochran able to avoid as the 02 trying to figure out where the safest traction would be, but luckily a caution comes out. It's going to help this 15 to see if there was any damage to get repaired, and not going to be losing any more extra positions if we had stayed green. But trouble for Vincent Sora. He has fallen all the way from 3rd, all the way outside of the top 20. He's now 27th as we're about to go green once again. Bizarre moments as we are back to live footage. I mean, Zach, now we're in an odd spot. Cody Reed does not pit. He's the only driver who did not pit. He will start up front on 12-lap old tires. Rest of the field, they all got freshies. This 88 is in the worst-case scenario.
He's a lone man, is what they would say. He is in a position that will be very much challenged here for the next couple laps. So Cody better hold on to his britches because there's definitely some drivers coming.
Oh, definitely they will be, as we're ready and set. It's time to go green. Your Jones Paint and Designs 140 is back underway. Cody Reed trying to move up and block off the 67 immediately. Going to be now stuck in the middle. Let's go 3 wide immediately down into turn number 1. Yingling trying to get rolling. Not able to do so. It's Jared Talmadge for the first time here tonight. Now in the leading position. As he looks in his mirrors, Larry Yingling doesn't want to stay stationary. He goes for the big move. Danny Cochran with the big slashing move. As Cody Reed just on the downhill climb. He'll continue to fall. And now you cross your fingers and hope you're not in any danger, as the rest of the field is going to be closing in quickly.
They are. Yingling back to the lead with the big power move. Now you're going to see Thomas Green. He's going to look to the inside of the 27. As everybody knows, business is picking up. This is starting to get to the crunch. And, man, I tell you what, Cody Reed, the driver in that 88, he is starting to feel the pain of those tires because now he has quickly dropped outside the top 10. He's done a good job, though. He's kept his lane on the bottom, and the driver's been able to navigate around him.
And most of the field pitting on lap 80. I mean, Zach, that's about 61 laps the drivers have to go. I mean, that seems a little far. With the way we've seen tires and fuel, you're most likely going to turn the rest of this race into a one-stop from here on out. I think that's why we're going to be seeing the emergence of a lot of drivers trying to push forward as quickly as they can. But it looks like for some, they're willing to back off, not putting on some crazy speed, but trouble for the 14. It's going to be Jesse Thornock who slides. More drivers going to be sliding around. That's Cody Reed. Around him, trouble emerges. The 88's clear, but other drivers are not.
Oh, I think this is going to come from a bump from the 38 of Christopher Norris that kind of sends the 88 up the track. I mean, Reed doing the best he can to really, hold a lane here, and
that's what happened to Jesse.
Yeah, it happened. He was getting loose off the exit of 2 there, trying to not die, and he was going down the track. So multiple incidents there.
I heard over the radio someone saying it seems like Norris might have a hit list, and watch out for that red 38 machine and the 14 initially. As we go down into the corner of turn 1. Start 30 to Christopher Norris, trying to stay, and there's a little wiggle. Might have been a slight net code for the 14 that ships him out of the way, and then there's a major tap with Cody Reed just trying to get off the exit. So difficult with old tires. They get away cleanly with everyone else behind them. Not going to be the case.
And man, the two culprits at the front of the field catching out the guys in the back here. But it was tough because, Kanata checks up for that. Bird gets in the back of him, and, that from there transpires the issue. So just a tough little racing ordeal. And, I mean, really nothing anybody could do except for, maybe Christopher Norris not hitting the back end of Cody Reed there as aggressively. Definitely could have helped. But definitely a racing moment, as they would say.
It definitely is. And we only were green for about 3 laps, but we've already seen 5 laps, 10 laps, how big of a difference that is. I'm now curious with Cody Reed, going to get some damage repair, get some new tires. With Cody not taking tires under this last pit stop, he's got a free set to utilize if he wants for this run. So get damage repair, get some tires, fuel, get back out there and see how many more positions you can gain back, as quite a few drivers going to enter pit road. Majority just fueling up. That's going to be from 19th on back. Justin Campbell just fuel for himself. Same for Ryan Farrar. Ryan Bird fuel only. Tires will be given to Jesse Thornock in 22nd, 23rd of Isaac Reimer is welcome to take tires, with Travis Downing taking tires as well. Damage repair for Reed, Kanata, as well as Vincent Sora still in pit road for the 15. So that wall collision, it still is hampering the 15, who from a win last week to just trying to stay on the lead lap with damage repairs.
Yeah, it's tough for Vincent Sora. Yeah, I mean, going from the highs of getting a super speedway win where you felt like it was never possible for you before, to a place where he probably felt pretty confident coming in tonight, thinking that this would be another place he could possibly go get a victory. But he was running strong. It just shows you one simple mistake like that, and next thing you know, your race is in rebuild mode.
See lap down drivers, they're the ones that are going extremely low and slow, trying to get out of the way here for the choose, as that is everyone passing on by. Larry Yingling just going to be Jarrett Tolmage, going to be the top 2. Chris Stead's teammates with Larry Yingling, newcomer joining the crew, and seeing different drivers joining with one another. I know, expecting with the new league, new drivers to pair with. Some drivers have raced with one another in different leagues. I mean, we're seeing some combinations that I never thought we were going to see based off their racing styles and WSSR. Now teaming up here in the Trinity Racing League with Larry Yingling, with Chris Stitz, Ryan Kelly, and Larry Yingling. Stitz, the newcomer, with that group, and the 17, hoping that get a little bit of that Yingling Yang racing luck to be rubbing on that 17.
Yeah, definitely. Always a good luck from that group for sure. I've seen it over my times for sure. As Yingling going to lead to the green once again.
Into the restart zone, and your Jones Paints and Designs 140 is back underway. Race 2 of the Trinity Racing League presented by Larry Art Productions. Great launch on the inside for the teammates from the Ying Yang Racing crew. Outside, though, going to be seen Talmadge, Thomas Green, and as well Sipes. Where can you place yourself? Sipes is going to rip the walls. Everyone else trying to find the middle, the inside seam on where they can go the quickest, as everyone in line, and we are back at it once again. Still for the front runners, not expecting them to be able to take this race all the way to the end based off how their tires are running. But for those that took a set of tires, curious on how well they can try to emerge their way forward. Watch out for Jesse Thornock and a couple of others. How much damage have they been able to get repaired? And what does a 3-lap difference on tires really look like?
This is going to be a crucial moment for sure. We get to learn that with Cody Reed, who's farther back, but there's someone wrecking. It looks like Reed might be involved in it with Malik Coots and Reed, but they keep it going somehow and save it. But huge loss of time for the 88 and the 33.
It looked like just coming down was Malik Coots. Cody Reed not expecting it. Small contact for the 33 and the 88. Both slide on the apron, but we continue to stay green for the both of them. Big loss of time, and no, huge wreck up front. Multiple drivers spinning around. Jackson and more, as more drivers running into one another. And wow, Jacob Morris, blown engine. He's out of this thing. Huge contact for the 23.
Ooh, this is an interesting moment right here. Is coming together here of the 23, the 08, and the 9 here. Ali Fonseca going to catch a piece of this too, but you're going to see here the 23 big run here goes to the inside. This is Jacob Morris to the inside of Martin Morales. He's going to dive that car, and what he does here, he's going to carry a lot of speed here to the outside. Look to the outside of the 08. The 08's going to start to wash up the corner. That's going to catch the left front. And from there, just heavy contact all around. And you can see the hood on the 9 going up the 23, just colossal hit right there for him. And then Jackson Anderson spinning backwards. So major incidents here in this middle portion.
And another driver getting more contact than he wanted. Ethan Smith thought he was going to escape away clean through that. Not going to be the case as the 00 from 30th gets ran over. Take another look at this. This driver is just trying to get everything here early on, but it just will not be enough as another quick caution comes out. And now this puts the rest of the field in an awkward spot where you could come in, top off on fuel. You could be good on fuel, but tires, where do you feel the best? What a collision there. Again, just that ricochet moment. And Justin Campbell, he lucks and scaves away from 2 multiple incidences there.
This is huge hits. And I mean, you see, look at the right front on the 08. He's done for. So night enders right there for a few guys. So they'll be in the pit road for a while if they're going to try to get that even fixed. But definitely some close racing that has just ended up into a huge incident.
I see a little bit further on back. Another driver gets involved. That's going to be ran over and pumped in the back. That's Ethan Smith who goes for a quick slide after having the 43 of Travis Downing come in a little bit hot. Let's both get a little extra damage, but after all those collisions, Jackson Anderson, Jacob Morris, and Ali Fonseca require damage and all sent to pit road as the field waits for the call of what is going to be the decision here. It's the choose cone going to be chosen for the field. And I'm trying to see who will be given the Lucky Caught Award. We haven't really talked about the Lucky Caught Award because so many drivers that were either been caught up in wrecks have called it a night, or if they were about to get the Lucky Caught Award, they found themselves being involved with that wreck. So keep our eyes out here once they cross the line. If anyone's able to go get a position back or not. I believe it was going to be Stephen Clapp, but I think he might have gotten a little bit of a brush, but I don't believe anyone might be getting it this go around.
Yeah, I think this is a no lucky card. So no luck here for anybody. But they don't get involved in incidents. That's what we'll tell you.
Well, Lucky Cod is sponsored by Cody Reed, who wanted to help out sponsorship-wise. We got plenty. We have a lot of sponsors that hopped on board for the first season of a league here for the Trinity Racing League, presented by Larry Art Productions. I mean, first and foremost, title sponsor, Larry Arts Production. If you're looking for great comedy skits that you want to get entertainment throughout the day, or wait for whenever he's got some new uploads, head on over to Larry Arts Productions on YouTube as well as on Instagram and check out his variety videos from reviews, slow motion videos, vlogs, and live streams and more. Thank you so much to Larry for hopping on board for another league and being the title sponsor. Also want to say thank you to the pole sitter sponsor. That's Blazing Fast TV. Go look up Blazing Fast TV on Twitch and YouTube to check out Dakota Moniz's point of view. Also want to say thank you to the Grid sponsor of Orchid Ink Tattoo Studios. Head on over to Orchid Ink Tattoo Studios on Instagram to see their wide of selections that you could have for tattoos, stickers, prints, and more. Our halfway sponsor, SG_Racing, and as well, I want to say thank you to Hot Lap Designs, our white flag sponsor, Morecast, and of course, our Lucky Cod. We're back underway. Plenty of more racing to go as we are closing in on 46 laps to go here tonight. And it's Larry Yingling. It's going to be Jarrett Talmadge, Chris Ditz. I mean, our top three have been up front majority of the night. Question is, who can dethrone these top drivers, or is everyone stuck on where they're at?
Look at how close this racing is. Talmadge all over the rear end of the 67. If this was the next gen car, we would hear some rear aero right there, because man, oh man, how close he was. It was amazing to see he could keep that close through the corner. So right now, everybody taking it to the boards, up to the top of the fence, trying to find the most speed. Ryan Kelly, though, that 30 on the bottom, trying to find some momentum on the low side.
High risk, high rewards couldn't be given. If you run the top, you can get these massive runs on the front stretch and back stretch, but everyone also trying to keep themselves out of trouble the best that they can. Under this last caution, few drivers take an attempt on some tires. You can see that pink and white machine further on back. That's Thomas Green. He's one of the first drivers that took tires under this last caution. He's mired back in 15th position, and he's trying his best to move forward, similar to what Yingling did before, but we didn't have as long of a green flag run that we're seeing the assistance of these fresh tires really be utilized.
That's true. It's going to be an interesting time for this for sure, to see if anybody can utilize that. But Thomas Green right now in that 3, definitely having a good head of steam right now, rolling through the field, and it's looking like the advantage is quite there already.
And I'm also looking at the difference of how they utilize their tires. Earlier in the race, Larry Yingling went straight to the outside wall. That's where he was staying to make a lot of big moves. But with all the drivers recognizing, hey, the outside's where you want to be, is a big wiggle for the 30 of Christopher Norris. Oh boy, Eric Kralik with a big shuffle between himself and Cedric Hunter, as drivers able to get themselves calmed down for a moment. But we're seeing the difference of wherever there's an opening, that's where you have to take it. And it seems like for the 3, he's seen a lot more chances for passes on the inside than it was on the outside earlier in the race.
That it is, and right now you can see, like you said, most people up top. He's going to catch the one here of Stovall, who's on the bottom. That is going to halt the progress there a little bit. So yeah, Yingling had that advantage of really nobody utilizing that very top wall, you know, so he could just drive all the way around them. Green's seeing a little bit more resistance here with these guys, because it is just blocked when you have traffic like this ahead of you.
Christian Norris, another massive wiggle for that 38. As you're seeing drivers blinking in and out, that's going to be the 98 machine of Isaac Shelley, who's trying to find his way to move forward. But Thomas Green, there's an opening. He'll poke the nose and full throttle his way forward, as Hicks will be stuck on the outside, trying to give a bump draft to that 98. And all this battling we're seeing, it's just for 7th position. Larry Yingling still up front, still confidently running this lead position. And Zach, I mean, this is looking very similar to other Atlanta races where the driver that's leading, maybe they don't pull away. It seems like Yingling is doing a lot more controlling where the pace, where the tires are at, and he's making sure he's in complete control here late in the run.
He is definitely doing that. I feel like that is his whole mindset, is just control the race. Do not let someone else take control of him. As we check back here to the 43 of Travis Downing, looks like there might have been a moment there. He's going to catch up to Halsey. He's going to go right down to the inside here. That's going to be a pass for the 23rd spot back here.
Trying to make all of these runs, but if you're just joining us 100 laps in, what a race we've had so far. Early troubles for the field, but we've had 5 cautions so far here at Echo Park Speedway, otherwise known as Atlanta. And we've also seen ourselves plenty of lead changes, a total of 5 different leaders, 4 lead changes, but it's been a lot of green flag racing. I think we're happy to see, yes, 5 cautions, but those cautions have been really after a 10 to 20 lap run. It's enabled us to see different drivers and different strategies be thrown around. We've seen some top runners be caught up in early troubles, but overall, Zach, I mean, this has been incredible racing all around, and some of our bigger movers throughout the field. Well, let's take a look at our Whiplash SimCam's biggest mover. We've got a couple of drivers that have been up over the double-digit marker, but it looks to be the 8 machine. I might be wrong on this, but I believe it's the 8 in 16th position, and Noah Steele up 19 positions. He currently is our Whiplash SimCam's biggest mover of the race here. Just about under 40 laps to go.
Noah's, known in the past to really be a great intermediate driver from ISRC days, so done a great job to slowly work his way forward. And you never know, before this thing's all said and done, it might be inside the top 10 for the 8 machine. As there's a lot of great drivers kind of lurking outside that top 10. Cedric Hunter 17th, Cody Reed's starting to climb his way back forward on a little bit fresher tires in the 88. He's alongside the likes of Eric Kralik, so some strong drivers here, and even Justin Campbell there, who's had a kind of quiet night but running at 12th.
Well, speaking about quietly taking the lead is Thomas Green. It might be only 12 lap difference, but slowly, methodically taking every position he can. The 3 is set up for victory if we stay green. Thomas Green is in the spot where he wants to be at this time, and our producer in the background, Robert Moyer Jr., happy and cheering it on for the 3. He picked this driver, Zach, as his driver to watch out for. And here's why. I mean, he is up front all night long, and he might have found the strategy that could put him into victory lane.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting. It's all right behind them. There's some contact between the 27 and the 67 as they're going to be doing here. They want to control that second position behind Thomas Green because they feel like maybe he's going to start to drive away here from this group, and this could be the spot to be in.
And Larry Yingling, he's now getting a little bit of a taste of what Jared Talmadge was using up the 3 earlier. I mean, this 27 through 3 and 4, he is liking the fact of using 8 tires instead of 4 as he goes around the corner. He's gonna have to back out that go around. But if you're Yingling as well as Stitz, if you're Talmadge, I mean, really isn't much you can do. It's kind of just watch the 3 drive away and keep yourself out of trouble and bank on maybe a caution that can give you a chance as the rest of the field all starting to stack up a little bit further on back as Thomas Green now almost a full second ahead of the rest of the field.
Thomas Green has done an excellent job to gap them. So that is not what you want to see if you're the other group, because you're hoping he would have got out there and then kind of stalled out. But right now, lap time's still about a tenth to 2 tenths faster than most of the drivers behind. It's a stack up from really second on backwards as Yingling again just controlling the pace back there, kind of keeping everybody right in tow of everybody. So he's done a good job of doing that, but an unfortunate problem for him, the tire advantage was just too much to keep that 3 behind. He couldn't control that.
And a couple of more drivers calling it a night as we've been green. And it's going to be Jackson Anderson, Ali Fonseca, both going to be calling it an evening. They both have left the server, going to be joining the mixture drivers that are in pit road or are called it a night already. Jacob Morris still in pit road, getting damage repair for himself, as well as Ethan Delaire, Michael Miller, leaving the server and have not returned is Nicholas Renner, Tyler Horn, Dakota Moniz, and Justin Smith. All have called it an evening so far. So laps continue to tick away. Zach, majority of the field, they've been out there on track for 28 laps on this set of tires. For our leader, Thomas Green, it's been 16. If you're the rest of the field, as seeing drivers staying high and trying to get out of the way, that's going to be the very slow machine a lap down, trying to just get their way through, as I believe that was the 7 of Cody Smith that was just struggling there. As I take that back, actually, that is going to be the 9 of Mark Morales that is trying to continue driving forward. He's currently the first car 1 lap down. But I mean, Zach, if you're the drivers that are on these older set of tires, this is got to be such a demoralizing feeling because you need a caution to get back into this fight. You can't just pit now because Thomas can make it to the end.
That's right. The gap, that Thomas Green builds here really just not only builds a buffer, but also gives him allowance of doing a lot of things. So the bigger it gets, the better it's going to be for that 3 machine. So he's doing a great job of continuing to open the gap, even though it's only a half of a tenth or half of a hundredth, or sorry, half of a tenth that he's gaining per lap from the guys behind. It's still that little bit that's just adding up. So we'll see if he can keep that underneath him.
As all these drivers going around, here's Larry Yingling looking back at the field. And hey, look, Zach Hall's favorite driver is Joey Logano. Larry Yingling just promoting and letting everybody know on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. No, that's a little jab at you, Zach, but Larry always willing to have some fun, even though right now he's not having the most fun watching in front of him.
Yeah, I think he'd rather be in the lead right now, but, he's doing a great job, and I don't know why he's spreading rumors like that. we'll let him be for the time being. He's definitely trying to keep the gap with a similar pace. I mean, right there, that last time by Sam, I look at it, only 100th of a second over Thomas Green had over Yingling. So, and this time, even this lap, looks like he's gained a little bit. So maybe he's got a little back pocket pace here. Just this 67's been saving, because if I know him, he is a total race manager. He gets out front and doesn't try to drive away. He's one of those people that likes to sit right in front of you and just play games.
And we saw that on the initial run when he had the fresher tires than the rest of the field. He flew through the field in 6 laps from 33rd to the lead. And then once he got there, he kept the gap within a half a second the whole time. Didn't really want to branch out any further. His trouble behind. Isaac Shelley going to be spinning for himself. Multiple drivers collected in as well. That's the 66 of Justin Campbell and Cedric Hunter with a little bit of extra damage. And there's the caution that changes everything.
Yep, this is where you're going to see a lot of drivers, including Thomas Green and Larry Yingling, use their last set of tires. I think Talmadge and others will have a set, but let's see what brought this out. Is all contact between the 1 of Stovall and Isaac Shelley. Stovall tried to make the move, but just couldn't do it without making the contact to the left rear.
And Stovall, instead of trying to keep it to the outside, tries to save it, overcorrects down and collecting up Justin Campbell and Cedric Hunter. And, you know, there's times where you save the vehicle. There's other times where you lock it down. And Zach, one of those moments probably where it would have been safer if the 98 had locked it down. He wouldn't have gotten damage, and he wouldn't have damaged others.
Yeah, he was fighting it all the way down the back straightaway. He probably, like you said, should have just locked it down. Would have maybe kept things from continuing to get worse. But you're going to see here from Cedric Hunter. I think also Justin Campbell's their point of view here is, you know, kind of hard for them to react. They're going low, looking like the car's going to go high once we get to see this wreck. And you make a decision. Sometimes that decision is unfortunately the wrong one when things change this fast like they do with incidents.
Just a helpless feeling when you're driving back here. You're just running in your own world. See trouble. You're trusting. You're hoping. Please not me. And there's the wreck. And that is so frustrating. And being that second car behind, I mean, literally could not see anything in front of Hunter. It just was an instant brake, slow down, you're involved.
And that's how fast things happen. I mean, Campbell's out of this race now just with that incident. So it is horrible to see. And I mean, like you said, Hunter could not see nothing. There was no even image of a car wrecking up in front of him. So he just followed the leaders ahead, probably knowing there was an incident happening, but you kind of just got to follow what you see ahead of you. You can't, you know, guess. And unfortunately, it was quickly changing directions in front of him.
It certainly was. There's multiple drivers going to be attempting to take the wave around for themselves. No lucky COD going to be given out, but if we were going to give one, I've got a couple of drivers trying to get a lap back, and Ethan Smith, with being arc braked and pushed around, trying to get himself back on the lead lap, is going to be the 00 in 26th position. First driver to try to get his lap back. Congratulations on trying to get the lucky COD award for Ethan Smith. Is everyone else behind the 00 and 85 going to be able to choose where they want to run? Thomas Green opting to take the outside lane with Jared Talmadge.
This is going to be interesting now to see how Yingling can react. We started in the front row on the bottom side. I mean, we've seen him so far utilize the top. He that one time he got the lead lost there from Talmadge. He restarted on the top behind the older tires, utilized it to turn down the racetrack and get a good run in the 3 to get the lead. But this time going to be positioned on the bottom, and we'll see if that 67 can fight back around, because he is, I think, really found that he just wants to be in the lead. He is going to fight for it, and we'll see what Green does here to fight back, because I think he's also got that same mindset now also.
Well, last week we had our pick'ems pop up in the end of the race, get to update where they're running. Well, here tonight, Zach and Robert, they are crushing it on the pick'ems as they are finding their 2 drivers. Going to be first and second. My driver, I'm 0 for 2. 2 for 2, you could say, for commentator curses. Justin Campbell, I'm so sorry. As Larry Yingling second, Thomas Green first. We'll see how those drivers can finish out, and can our pick'ems make it to the end? My driver didn't, but the rest are still alive as we are back to green flag action. Thomas Green, Jared Talmadge roar down into turn number 1 for your Jones Paint and Designs 140, and that 27 wants the lead back, but he's making a similar move that we saw before. He'll clear, but does Green go for the crossover move? Not going to be the case. He'll stay in line.
He will. He'll stay in line for the time being. We'll see if he gets too focused on him and allows the door to open up. But right now, Talmadge in a position he hasn't been in many times tonight, leading this race, because he's been most of the time that second and third place car kind of stuck in the air. So let's see if he can control it now from the end here.
That's going to be Talmadge getting a nice little bump for Thomas Green moving forward. Talmadge continuing to run this outside. Ryan Kelly now going to put his hand out there to give a chance to be the lead yin-yang driver. Larry Yingling stuck on the inside. He is going to stay there, try to save his tires for this late push. That's the goal for the 67. Up front, Thomas Green, Jared Talmadge, hold on tight as they make it through 3 and 4. But that was the closest we've seen those drivers be to chaos off the exit of 4.
That they were. That was so close. And Talmadge even up against the boards almost there, but now Ryan Kelly, he's got the bottom rolling. He's almost pulled up alongside second, just doesn't have the momentum, but you can see everybody fighting to get to the top. The inside just rolling so much quicker. Larry Yingling falling back here on the inside now in the middle of 3 wide with Hicks going to the bottom with Stovall looking to his outside.
And Hicks trying to stay stable, but finds an opening. Will be the 67 right in front of the 1 is Stovall. Stovall's got to be careful. He's got Christopher Norris, Cody Reed. And where did he come from? Cody Reed up to 10th place for the 88. We saw he spun around earlier, troubles for a lot, but we're seeing that outside groove. It's getting tighter, and Thomas Green, and Jared Talmadge make contact. It's going to be a big wiggle for the 3. Lots of momentum for the 27, and Ryan Kelly now surging to the inside. Not able to have the momentum for the lead just yet. Talmadge will hold that steady with a big pinch through 3 and 4. Well, this now gives a chance for Danny Cochran to get in the mix. The 3's got to resettle, and Kelly trapped on the inside. He needs to move up high if he wants to keep this track position. But here we go, another big chance for a slide job move, but the 30's not there, but he'll cut right in front of the 3.
What a move from Kelly as Thomas Green just immediately cranks it left to go to the inside. And what racing we got going on here. That contact off the exit there was so close to being a race over for the 3 of Thomas Green. Great job by him by saving it. But these drivers are going at it, Sam. They're all putting it on the line right now because they know how valuable that clean air out front is.
It is so critical to try to stay up front. Our top 14 all within a second and a half one another. Top 15 all within a second and a half. They know you have to stay with the lead pack. Keep yourself in the draft. 20 laps to go here tonight, and this race is ramping up quickly. If you've saved your tires and we stay green, those final 10 laps are going to be your critical moment to start pushing forward. But if you're setting up for track position here early on, you also have to find a way to keep your track position and save your tires. But Zach, I'm looking at a few of these guys. I mean, Jared Talmadge, Thomas Green, they had their little slides and wiggles. I don't know how much tires they're really going to have to defend in those final 10 to 15 laps here as Green brushes the wall again off the exit of turn 2.
Everybody pushing so hard here, Sam. I think I got to agree with you, man. The tires are going to be gone this run. I don't even think there's much saving going on by anybody here. I think everybody knows it's track position over everything. Is Nolan Hicks somehow self-clears but almost wrecks off 2. They're going to be 3 wide here, I think, with Stitz going to the bottom.
Huge moments all around, but you got to give kudos to the field for giving each other plenty of space. Danny Cochran could have just floored it and taken out the 86 in himself. Instead, backs off, finds a better position, and he'll attack on the outside of Nolan Hicks. Hicks, though, big wiggle and slide. That's going to be hurting the most of Joshua Stovall and Chris Stitz. I mean, also going to be Justin Sipes. They'll fall back and continue watching this action around them, but Danny Cochran trying to find a way to move forward as Chris Stitz in 4th place. That's 17. I am watching him closely because he just has been settling and waiting. The drivers behind the 17, the drivers ahead of the 17 have been making big moves, big challenges. He's just been settling on the outside. If we see any mistakes, that 17 will pounce.
I love that, Sam. He has been, like you said, methodical here. He's took advantage of mistakes. That's allowed him to get forward. As you see farther back, Christopher Norris almost making contact, but he slides up in front of Justin Sipes back there. So he makes a slide job work, but makes contact with the wall there on the exits. Everybody just going for it. They know the outside is the place to be, and they're throwing sliders here. And Atlanta's a place you can do it.
And we're seeing a lot of big moves. They tighten up, they squeeze off the exit, and Sipes and Norris once again, that outside wall sneaking up on him. But Norris going to be continuing to try to push that 80 down below, lose that momentum, enable the 38 to keep this spot, and force the 80 to now fight with Cody Reed. Now, a lot of these drivers, I mean, we saw them spinning out earlier tonight. Aaron Kralik, Malik Kuntz, Noah Steele, Cody Reed, they are having their emergence to fight for a chance for a top 5 run. But Cody Reed and Sipes, you got to be careful not to make contact with one another. It's hard to move away from this battle, but ahead of him, Larry Yingling is making the switch. He's flipping it, Zach. He makes the pass now on to Thomas Green and slots in the 5th. It's about to be go time for the 67.
We'll see if he's got anything here late in this race, that's for sure. But, man, Thomas Green, huge mistake that last lap as they're actually catching Mark Loberton up here in the traffic. This is going to get interesting. Oh, Jared Talmadge almost contact with the lap car there. This is wild here, seems as they're going to pass by him at a high rate of speed. I hope everybody can get by. Oh, God.
And Labertone, I mean, it might be just safer to start running the apron, maybe head into pit road, but he continues to stay out on track, and that will hurt the 27 and enabling the 30 to now closing the gap ever so slightly. The battle for the lead now within a tenth of one another. Larry Yingling now trying to find out a way to get by Danny Cochran. And if you've got a teammate of Chris Stitz and you're Larry Yingling and you might feel like you've got the speed, are you asking for a little bit of team assistance? But this late in the race, everyone's fighting for their own. As now ahead, Jared Talmadge, get ready for another lap car as you've got Mark Morales now going to be ahead, and Sipes into the grass, onto the track, and we stay green once again with 13 to go.
Whoa, how does he stay straight there through 1 and 2? We do not know, but Sipes lost of time there for sure, but he's going to keep it straight as we're going to 3 wide as Bird looks to the inside. It just shows you everybody's going for it right here. This is everything on the line.
And this is all 4 positions. It's Ryan Ferraro, our pole sitter, trying to continue to move forward up front. Jared Talmadge able to get by the lap car of the 9 and Mark Morales. And looking at Kelly, looking at Sipes, they're all still ripping the wall and trying to find any advantage to move forward. But it's so hard when everyone's running the same line to find that advantage. It's a mistake that needs to happen. And behind them, Sipes, Bird, more contact off the exit of turn 2. They continue to keep it clean and green as Bird and Ferraro give space. But this 80 and 49, they might not be done just yet as the 80 gets into Bird. We stay green. But Bird, you better be careful as Sipes rips the top and tries to get by.
Ooh, this action back here is getting crazy. As like you said, there was contact between these two down here, 1 and 2, and it was actually a little bit of net code that sent the 80 sideways. But you can see the 49 sliding up once again, but the 80 holds on as they're passing by Martin Morales here. The lappers, they're going to keep it straight.
No, ahead of him, Christopher Norris. Norris goes around, and there's a caution with 11 to go. Soon to now be 10, and no, into Ferraro. Oh, no. Norris taking that and wiping out our pole sitter.
Oh no, that is unfortunate to see for Ryan Ferraro. They gotta just keep it locked down there, but the 38 just letting it come back down the racetrack there in front of the field.
Once again, I mean, that is the second, third time this race where we've seen a driver just let it coast and is either almost gotten to someone, but does get into someone. Here's Nolan Hicks, Christopher Norris battling between one another. And just, it's been so aggressive on who's going to get this 10th place position. There's nothing that you can give. You're fighting for everything. And Norris going to be getting the run off the exit of turn number 2, but gets wiggled into the outside wall. Nolan Hicks trying to find a way to get clear. Norris trying to save, but also trying to block. And there was the 86 and the 38 just at this moment at a lockdown, straightened it out. You can lock it down a little bit more, but then just lets it drop right into our pole sitter.
Oh, and this is set up wild scenes because a lot of drivers not having a set of tires here is going to cause a sizable amount of the field here not to come down pit road, but Jared Talmadge from the lead. He has hit pit road. This gives the lead over to Larry Yingling. I think the advantage of the tires is just going to be way too much.
It is massive.
Kelly.
We saw a difference in 11. 11 laps was the difference, but more drivers taking chances. Chris Stitz goes with 2 tires. Ryan Kelly with the better stop over Jared Talmadge. Talmadge falls to 11. He'll be the 3rd driver exiting pit road. Danny Cochran going to be 12th. Stovall also going to be seeing Steele. Curious on the Chris Stitz 2-tire call. We've seen it work in the next gens, but for the Xfinity cars, that's a dangerous gamble to take. But for our top 8 that didn't pit, well, you better hope the driver behind you blocks the momentum that's about to be surging unstoppably quick here when we go green.
We are about to get a wild finish here, folks. Buckle down because we have got about 8 cars that are going to be a good bit slower than the rest of the field behind them, and they're not going to be making the cars, very, narrow. They're going to be making them wide, and when you come by with that speed, you're going to have to make those decisions quickly, and we could see definitely some issues popping up for a few drivers.
And I think what also is going to make this top 8 a little bit more difficult, there's about 3-4 drivers in their top 8 that are also dealing with a wounded vehicle with a lot of damage on top of older tires. This initial pack is going to be hard to get by. If you can get by them quickly, it's going to be a lot more of a smoother run. But what nasty blocks are you willing to take? What charges are you willing to go for? You know everyone that's up front, they're going to try to get to the top as soon as possible. But if they give a completely open lane on the inside, their race is over. You got to block the whole track. And Zach, I don't know if that's even possible.
I don't think it is. I think if anybody of these driver-level tires stay in the podium, it's going to be impressive in my opinion. It's it. You're going to see a wild stampede right here, pretty much, of animals. This is going to be crazy. Just get ready.
25 drivers on the lead lap. We do have overtime if it is needed, but it is about to be a 7-lap shootout. New tires versus old. Top 8, they're on the old tires. Everyone else, 4 tires except for Chris Stitz. He took 2. Jones Paint and Designs 140 is back underway. A lot of wheel spin further on back, but here we go. Oh no, it's going to be seen. Noah Steele, that's Travis. It's going to be Downing trying to hold steady as they're faltering backwards. Up front, great launch for also going to be Larry Yingling and Cody Reed, but your trouble is Danny Cochran's the one that blitzed on through. The O2 is on the charge, and he's the first one with fresh tires.
And he's going to quickly catch up to Larry Yingling. What's he going to do? He's going to split the middle here, but Yingling's going to slide up the track. He's going to have the lift.
He's blocking him. Oh, they're forcing the outside. Down to the inside. Cochran's wrecking right in front of Kelly. Oh, no. Jared Tolmich breaks through. The big one. Everyone's piling in. Oh, the madness. Oh, no. And everyone's in it. The only ones that made it through was our top 4. Everyone else got a clip of this one.
Oh, man. We're going to have to take a good look at that one, but man, Cochran was trying his best. He was in such a position to win this, and unfortunately, it just stacked up behind the 67. I'm going to be honest, the 67, just from the first look of it, just perfectly positioning the race car, never allowing the 0-2 to get to the quarter panel, and kind of, keeping them stacked behind Reed right here. So you're going to watch here, you got Reed there who looks to the outside, but Yingling never gives him the quarter panel. He just slides up the track. The contact is made. Cochran's probably lifting here. That's going to make those two come together. And then, unfortunately, from there, Reed's going to come down off the wall, clip that O2. And like you said, Ryan Kelly, nowhere to go. Nolan Hicks, their huge hit. I mean, it's just explosion.
It just keeps rattling down. And you see the top 4 make it through. Everyone else trying to hope to find an opening. But it is just utter chaos all around. I mean, Nolan Hicks, as well as Cody Reed, are still wrecking down into turn number 1. This started off the exit of turn 4, and it went all the way down into turn number 1. And you look at the madness, you look at the chaos. Jarrett Tolmich, Danny Cochran is still rolling, and Danny Cochran will be restarting inside of our top 5. But Tolmich just throttles up, and he gets good on the inside, and it just opens perfectly for the 3, the 27, the 33, and everyone else. There was no opening.
Oh, my goodness gracious. The hit. And what's crazy is, after all this, the O2 of Cochran, he's still, like you said, going to restart in top 5. So this is makes things interesting still. Jarrett Talmadge on the freshest of tires, but it looked the O2 definitely was pretty upset there with the 67. He drove right up near him.
Oh, yeah. I would imagine a little irritated, but it's fair play. It's a fair move that was put down. And seeing these drivers making for those passes, I think for the good thing for the O2 of Danny Cochran, the damage doesn't look as crazy as it could have been. You still have the major advantage of the fresher tires. But Jared Talmadge going to be restarting in 3rd. He ultimately is in complete control here. As long as the lane that he's in moves forward, you're good. And if you're that 27, you're following wherever that 67 goes for the leader.
You are, man. Oh, man. This is a really interesting choose right here. Like you said, we'll see how it works. It's going to be Green going to the outside, Talmadge to the inside. Cochran's going to choose the inside. And I would say Malik Kuntz going to get to the outside. So our top 5 kind of split decisions all around, but those fresher tires are going to be a huge advantage right here. Still got the old tires of Malik Kuntz, Thomas Green, and Larry Yingling in the mix.
And back in 10th place, 77, Isaac Reimer. He's also on old tires. Jesse Thornick back in 15th, old tires. Same for Travis Downing in the 43. as this race will be under regulations, a green-white checkered. We are going to have a 2-lap shootout. If we get ourselves to stay clean and green and we make it to the white flag, this race is official and it's all about who crosses the line first. If we get a caution under this first lap, though, we will head into overtime where we have 3 attempts if needed. Hold your breath. The madness isn't over just yet. And you know this 67 is going to be willing to block as aggressively as he needs. Jared Talmadge needs to make this move as quickly as possible. Do not let Danny Cochran or anyone else that's got fresh tires have a chance to get close to you. And if you're Larry Yingling, Thomas Green, you might have to hope that you utilize every green-white checker there is. We aren't there yet. We're still under regulation, but into the restart zone. The Jones Paint and Designs 140 is back underway. Clears the 27. Inside he goes, and it's Talmadge, Cochran, and the rest of the field roaring forward on the inside.
Yeah, I think Larry Young knew there was no opportunity there after that launch. He's going to just give up that inside to hold the outside, but Talmadge is just launched out of a cannon, but here comes the 01 Aaron Crawley, and here comes Larry Young back to the inside of the 02.
Yingling trying to find a way to get by Danny Cochran, but the damage is just too great for the 0-2. But up front, Jared Talmadge, the 27, looking up to the flag stand, and he'll see the Morecast white flag. It's one more lap to go. More drivers going to be having issues. If Malik Kuntz is going to be faltering back quickly, but Jared Talmadge, Aaron Kralik, Zach, what a call for the 0-1, up to second for himself.
The 0-1, amazing from Aaron Kralik. Just, I mean, where did he come from to get this? And farther back, Kanata going for a top 3 also.
Where did the 16 come from? Off the exit of turn 4. Your Jones Paint and Designs 140 goes to the 27 of Jared Talmadge, winning race number 2. And where the heck did he come from? Joshua Kanata will get 3rd. Eric Kralik gets 2nd. The madness, the chaos. Atlanta gave us all the storylines we could ask for. And it's Talmadge, who was up front all night long, is the one who goes to victory lane.
What a job by him, man. Talmadge, he was in position, having that extra set of tires. It gave him that ability. And, man, with that wreck, making it through it, he is the man in the victory lane.
In so many other league moments, he's usually the last on his team to get into victory lane. Well, this season, brand new team, and the 27 is going to be the first driver from Larson Line Racing to get into victory lane. It's a 1-2 for Larson Line with Eric Kralik coming away 2nd. Enjoy this one, Jared Talmadge on victory here for race number 2 of the Trinity Racing League presented by Larry R Productions. We will step away when we come back. It's the post-race show. We'll talk to our top 3 and a spotlight driver, Jared Talmadge, Eric Kralik, Joshua Kanata. We'll see who the 4th one is. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting for the post-race show of the Trinity Racing League presented by Larry Art Productions. Season 1 has already given us 2 spectacular finishes and madness moments to look back on. But tonight for race number 2, your Jones Paint and Designs 140 winner going to be heading over to Victory Lane where we talk to Jarrett Talmadge in the 27. Jarrett, sorry for taking away from that conversation, but buddy, what a run, what a charge. You find yourself with the opening there late, and you're into Victory Lane. How are you feeling being the second driver to win in the Trinity Racing League?
Pretty damn good. I think I'm more excited to win on a real oval instead of a plate track. So, yeah, I mean, it's insane that we won. I really didn't think I had a chance starting the race, but I feel pretty damn good right now.
Definitely a great race from you, Jarrett. You kept it up in the top 3, top 5 pretty much for a majority of the night. I mean, it looked like everybody had the decision made to stay up against the wall, and passing became tough at that point. Take us through there because you got the lead late in that late transition, but having that extra set of tires also definitely came to work out for you.
Yeah, once you got past like lap 5, 6 of the run, it was, I wouldn't say impossible, but it was really hard to pass if somebody was just running the wall. And I think you saw that with when Larry got the lead. He had some good speed there for a while, and a couple guys would close up. You couldn't pass. You back off, close back up. It got tough. The top was real dominant, really around the whole racetrack, and I just knew we'd probably get a couple late race restarts about halfway through the race. So I wanted to just keep a set, even if I ended with a set in the pits. I just wanted to have one in case we did get that yellow there with what was it? I think 8 to go, and it worked out. Some of those guys didn't have tires, stayed out. We made a horrible lane choice on the initial restart and kind of got bailed out by some people on the bottom missing a shift and made it by that wreck. And then got a good restart there, and I think Larry just kind of realized he wasn't going to be able to put up a fight and moved out of the way, and I got it done.
You certainly did get it done, Jarrett. I mean, you really proved yourself here tonight. You were up front for majority of the evening, and you get yourself into Victory Lane. I know Zach and I were talking about it a lot here tonight. The difference of this vehicle to the previous ones that we've seen, from the trucks to also the next gens that we've seen the most here on Freaky Fast recently. How has it been for you? Again, this is your second test here for Trinity. I know we had the Super Speedway last week, and then here tonight on a very hot track at Atlanta. What is it like having the differences on these vehicles and the fact of how different they drive from the next gens to this Xfinity car?
Yeah, I don't like. I think I said it in Daytona. I really never run the Xfinity car at all in iRacing. I'm not good at it. It's not one of my favorites, but it's definitely different. Unlike the Cup car, you can follow the car in front of you without plowing the wall down. The truck's kind of more of like a plate track car on almost every mile and a half. It's a lot of throttle, and here with the Xfinity car, 95% of tracks, it's a lot of lifting. So, and you got to find grip 95% of the time too, especially with how hot the track was tonight. So I like it. I just don't run it a lot. I think it's the best racing provider out of all 3 of the cars. And I think you kind of saw that tonight.
We absolutely did. Kept us on the edge of our seat all night long. But Jarrett, before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any other shout outs.
Shout out you guys put on the broadcast, everybody who runs the league, and shout out to Dakota and Ryan. I know they once again got caught up in stuff that wasn't really their own fault. But I'm glad me and Aaron could bring home a 1-2 for the team there at the end. That was pretty freaking cool.
An absolute incredible finish. Larson line 1-2 here this evening. Jarrett, enjoy this win here tonight, and good luck next week at Homestead, Miami.
Thank you.
As we move from Victory Lane, we go to second place to second. It's a 1-2 for Larson line, but a driver I don't think we had circled up. You know, he was fighting for top 10, but comes away second with all the madness and the chaos there late. We've got Aaron Kralik with us. Aaron, it's been a while since we talked to you at an oval like this, but man, how are you feeling? Come away with a second and being involved with a 1-2 for Larson line.
Man, I am so excited for the team. Sucks for the boss man and Ferraro, but man, coming home 1-2 for Larson line, hell of a win for Jarrett. That was well deserved. But man, yeah, like you said, I did not have this one circled at the start. You know, driving through the field, I got to maybe 13th or something. It's like, okay, cool. I can't make any more passes, and this is where I'm going to finish. Cautions happened at the right time, saved a set of tires in the bank, and new tires are just incredible here. You could just blow through the field like everyone else is standing still. It's incredible, very fun, and all in all, that was a fantastic race.
It definitely was, Aaron, man. Glad to have you up here, finishing second up here on the podium this early in the season. I mean, how does this feel for the rest of your season and like the outlook for it? Because man, this is a heck of a start on a really tough track like this.
Oh man, you know, I want to say that it'll just continue, but knowing my luck, I'm probably going to falter here shortly. I know Homestead's coming up here shortly. I do not have the best of luck there. But yeah, no, but this is a great momentum starter going forward, and I've been trying to work on saving my tires better than I have been in the past, but man, it was good. It felt good having those longer green flag runs here with the Xfinity car in this group. It was fantastic. I loved it.
I mean, Aaron, the big talking point, the fact that we're in a different vehicle. We've seen the ISRC Truck Series in the past. We've also covered here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting the next gens with WSSR. Being in an Xfinity car, with it being kind of a neutral zone where everyone's learning, how is it for you trying to learn this vehicle and seeing that you are competing inside the top 15 and close to that top 10 marker?
See, there's other times where I try out the Gen 4 cars, and honestly, I want to correlate these two about the same. Besides, the big power disadvantage this has to the Gen 4, but it's very much just try to get that weight on that right rear, and then just kind of wiggle your way out of the corner. But it's very similar in ways that I feel like with just taking it slow early on, it will really benefit you in the long run. That's my take on this new vehicle, and I haven't touched this thing probably in about a year and a half before last week at Daytona. And I will say I love the hype with it and just how she drives. I love it.
Well, it was amazing to watch the drive happen. Aaron, congratulations on second.
Thank you.
And before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any other shout outs.
Oh man, first and foremost, I got to thank you guys for putting on an amazing show. I'll have to watch that back tomorrow at work. I want to thank the league admins, Nick Crawford and Josh Cantina, no Kanata. They did a hell of a job putting this thing together, and I want to thank the teammates as well, Dakota, Ryan, and Talladega. Love those guys, and yeah, and everyone else who's sitting at home watching this thing. Appreciate you.
Well, I'll be your second place finisher here tonight in the 0-1 of Aaron Kralik. Aaron, it is always a pleasure to talk with you. Congratulations on this second place finish. Enjoy it and good luck at Homestead, Miami next week.
Yeehaw.
As we move from second place, we go down to talk to third place. Talking about a shocker of where did Aaron come from? Well, he was just outside of the top 10. A good run was going to help him out. Where did this 16 come from? I still don't know. But from the Team 81, Joshua Kanata comes away third there late with a late pass on Danny Cochran. Josh, I mean, third place. I don't know if you even thought a 10th place finish was there. How does third place feel for yourself here at Hot Atlanta?
I can't believe it either. I don't know where I came from either. Yeah, I was hoping to get a top 10 there. Knowing a few guys up front had worn tires at the end, and I had freshies. It was really just about getting to that melee at the end. Kind of got lucky. Like I said, I still don't know how the heck I finished third after all that, but they're definitely very thrilled. I didn't think that was going to happen tonight.
Definitely a great run, Josh. Congrats on a podium here to start off your season already pretty early with one. I mean, we talked about how much tires are at a premium. Take us through your decision to have that set at the end, because it definitely seemed like it paid off for all the guys that did that. Tires were just such a big benefit.
Yeah, I mean, during that long run, we were kind of on the fence whether we would do, 2 stops or just the one. And And I think it ended up being all the guys that did that 2-stop were the ones who didn't have the extra set at the end. I wasn't sure if we were going to end up needing it. It was looking pretty green there, but, as tires wear, you make a little mistake and these things are just going to float on you, and there's almost no saving it. I know a couple guys got caught up by that. We were definitely hoping for that. Maybe a late caution with 5 or 10 to go, because, we saw earlier in the race when, I think it was Larry, after a 10-lap run right at the beginning, took fresh tires, blew by everybody by lap 20. So we were just hoping we'd get a shot at the end and try to get through the melee, and luckily we did.
You certainly did, and it worked out perfectly with a top 3 finish. Josh, this is just race 2 of a brand new league and a new season. Take us from your point of view as being one of the league owners and main admins of this series. What is it like to be now 2 races in and see where the league's at currently?
It's awesome. I definitely didn't expect this level of support, both from the drivers and seeing everybody watching it on the channel as well. I couldn't be more thrilled with the group of guys that we have, and you guys broadcasting it, of course. First few races have definitely been a lot of fun. Just gonna hope that continues here the next couple weeks and just take it 1 week at a time.
Well, it certainly has been a fun opening to the season, Josh. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any other shout outs.
Of course, thank you guys for putting this on. Like I said, I appreciate you guys picking us up for the season. Thank you to everybody who runs this league and everybody who's watching. We can't do it without you. I say it every time I'm up here. And hopefully I'll be able to come back up here sooner rather than later.
Well, that'll be your 3rd place finisher in the 16 machine of Joshua Kanata, part of Team 81. Congratulations, Josh, on 3rd place here this evening, and good luck next week when we head to Homestead, Miami.
Thank you, guys.
Well, that's going to be your top 3. We're going to drop down to 5th place, where we will talk to the 8 machine of Noah Steele and get his thoughts on tonight. Noah, earlier on, was our Whiplash SimCam's biggest mover of the race. Well, he carried that crown all the way to the end, coming away with 5th here tonight, and also will be our Whiplash SimCam's biggest mover of the race, up 30 positions from where he qualified. Congratulations on taking that award, Noah. But how are you feeling? Top 5 at the end of this one.
Thank you. First of all, it's been a long time no see. But I messed up quali, and I was so excited that I got 5th. I like these cars so much better than the trucks. You're wheeling it more. I wish I qualified better. I would have been able to race more up front, but I'm definitely happy with the finish.
Definitely a great finish there for you, Noah. And take us through your battle to get through there. Of course, having fresh tires there at the end helps a lot, but definitely, like we said, at one point you were in the halfway point of the race. You still are our biggest mover of the race. So how did you seem to work your way forward?
It was just when the first start, I was taking it easy because it was loose in quali. So I did it was tight in practice, and all of a sudden it was loose in quali. So I was all right, it's gonna be loose in the race. And I took it easy the first couple laps. And then I just kicked it up a gear because I was I'm saving too much. Got past a couple people. Saved a set on that first caution because it was gonna come vital. And just missed the wrecks, man. The high line was so dominant, but I was doing more of a high entry and a low arc just to get some clean air and just keep the right front cool. Because that was key. I was behind Cody. Aaron was behind me for a lot of the race, and he would go in deeper. And I know their right front's gonna heat off, and I was just taking it easy until I could make a move or somebody messed up. Cautions came out at the worst time. I was getting better tires, but it still worked out.
Noah, this has been an exciting season for us to get prepared for. Daytona, now Atlanta over with. We've got ourselves more 1.5 racetracks ahead of us, as we've got Homestead, then we head to Iowa for a little bit of a short track break, and then we're back to the 1.5 at Kentucky. What is your excitement for these upcoming races, or are there any other tracks ahead of these upcoming 3 that you're most excited to go race at?
All these tracks fit into my wheelhouse. Iowa will definitely be fun. I've been doing a lot of short track racing to get ready for that. And I think my skills improved on short track. But all these I'm looking forward to. Kentucky is one of my best tracks because you got, 1 and 2 is different than 3 and 4. And that seems to fit my driving style, just having different corners and just having a plan to set up passes. And that right front's going to wear so much at Kentucky. So it's definitely going to be fun having to balance tires and speed.
Well, Noah, we cannot wait to see you out there on track and competing up front. Also love seeing the scheme out there. And before we let
Thank
you
you.
go, the floor is now yours for any other shout outs.
I just want to thank family. My girlfriend lets me do these and she doesn't yell at me, so that's always fun. And then my family watching, they give me good support for this hobby and everything. And just my teammate running good until he got involved in that last wreck. So, and thank y'all for putting on the show so I can rewatch the pain the next day.
Well, thank you for giving us a show to call, as Noah will come away 8th here tonight. And again, will be our biggest mover of the race, our Whiplash SimCam's biggest mover. Congratulations. Enjoy that award as well as enjoy a top 5 here this season. And good luck next week as we head to Homestead, Miami.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
As that will finish off our interviews here this evening. What a race, what chaos we got to see there. And inside the regulations, green, white, checkered, and Jared Talmadge found the opening, survived the big one, our second to last caution that put us into that 2-lap shootout. And then Larry Yingling pulled the side, and we watched that 27 go. It was gone in a blink of an eye, but what a start to the season. 2 races in the books, and we have 2 different winners, 2 different pole sitters. In our second race of the Jones Paint and Designs 140 will be given to the winner award given to the 27 of Jarrett Talmadge. Second going to go to Aaron Krolick. Third goes to Joshua Kanata. Danny Cochran deal with the damage, able to wheel his way into fourth, almost taking third, but was not able to do so. Noah Steele, again, our biggest mover of the race. He'll take fifth. Sixth goes to Cedric Hunter, which, I mean, what a recovery run for that 13 as well. As he fell back, moved forward. Chris Stitz able to salvage a 7th place finish. Larry Yingling, oldest tires, still comes away with the top 10 and 8th. 9th is Justin Sipes, and also another old tire top 10. That's going to be the 3 of Thomas Green. I mean, Zach, shocking to see, but man, it is fun when strategy becomes the big talking point there late.
That it does, yeah. I mean, the talking point for sure was strategy with the tires, and if you look back farther through the running order, you're going to see guys that really got bit by that strategy in that big wreck. They came down to get the fresh tires, but they were just caught up in that massive incident there at the end. So some tough finishes from others, while others were able to gain from that for sure. As now we look to the guys that were laps down, and definitely some tough nights here in Atlanta. It was a place that had a lot of bumps and bruises for people, and I'm not surprised to see it, because this car was a handful. I mean, we talked about how high the track tempo was at one point, 138. It was a handful tonight for a lot of guys tonight, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, that track temp still is crazy to see, and all the drivers, they got a glimpse and got a feel of what hot Atlanta is like. It was tough, it was a handful, but it's only going to get trickier as we head to Homestead, Miami next week, as that is going to be another slick track where it's going to be all about throttle control and who can survive. I think that's going to be a fun glimpse to see moving forward. But for us here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, we cover here on Monday nights the Trinity Racing League presented by Larry Art Productions, but we also call on Wednesday nights the WSSR VRS Cup Series as we are finishing up the round of 16. We already know our winner from Indianapolis. That's going to be Vincent Sora. Sadly, we weren't able to give you the call of that last Wednesday. We hope to give you the call for the ending of this round at Chicagoland. Wednesday night, 160 laps, and all the pressure on around 6 to 7 drivers. Who's making it into the next round? You're going to have to check out for our next broadcast. Zach, I know there's a lot of drivers that are on the cut line that are getting nervous, especially our previous champion of last season, John Forbes. He's really close to that cut line.
Yeah, after last week at Indianapolis, the shakeup was real, so to say. Really the standings got turned upside down with Forbes going from the top to the middle. So it just shows you one race can change everything. And, tomorrow night or Wednesday night could be his chance to, shine back in to get to the next round, or could it be an early exit for him? So, I mean, you never know. I'm telling you, these are 16 of some of the best guys, and I know myself even being like, I think like 15 to the good or something, I'm still worried. So it is, it's not over for anybody.
It certainly is not. If you enjoy the show here tonight, majority of the drivers that race here in the Trinity Racing League as well race on Wednesday night in the WSSR VRS Cup Series. So check out and see how their playoffs, again, the end of the round of 16, who moves on to the round of 12. Don't want to miss out on that. And as well, we want to say thank you to the major sponsors of the Trinity Racing League. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to the title sponsor of Larry Arts Production. Larry Arts Production, major title sponsor. He sponsors races, he sponsors drivers, a pivotal cornerstone sponsor to our Monday night series. And we are so privileged to have Larry be such an incredible sponsor. We also want to say thank you to our poll sponsor, that being Blazing Fast TV, grid sponsor being Orchid Ink Tattoo Studios, our halfway bonus sponsor being SG_Racing, our fastest lap sponsor being Hot Lap Designs, our white flag sponsor being the Morecast, as well as Cody Reed sponsoring the Lucky Cod. A lot of fast moves all around. This race had it everywhere. But man, I cannot believe how crazy it was. Zach, Homestead next week is going to be a wild one to see.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Homestead is kind of a similar style to this. You know, this track's old and worn out. Homestead's pretty old and worn out, and I'm interested to see how multi-groove it'll be, because we've seen tonight very much the top side came to be a dominant spot. I think you could see a lot of spots be dominant at Homestead. So I am very thoroughly excited for that one, and I think it's going to continue to just build a clearer picture of what is to come for the rest of the season here at Trinity. Is it's already shown the competitive levels are out the roof.
It certainly has. We do also want to give congratulations to your Hot Lap Designs fastest lap. That was Ryan Kelly taking that award on lap 117, put down a 31.634. Congratulations to Ryan Kelly for taking the fastest lap award here tonight at Hot Atlanta. Well, for us here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, for myself, Sam Dyer, for Zach Hall, for Robert Moyer Jr., and everyone else that helps out here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, thank you so much for joining with us. It was a pleasure to give you the call of Race 2 here of the Trinity Racing League, presented by Larry Art Productions. Your Jones Paint and Designs 140 at Hot Atlanta victory. Gonna go to Jarrett Talmadge. Congratulations on entering the history books and entering the win column. Now it's up to see who's gonna have the heat heading to Miami. Next week, we head to Homestead, Miami, but if you can't wait until then to see the racing action that we provide here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, we will see you Wednesday night. Whose journey for a championship continues on and who gets eliminated? We find out Wednesday at Chicagoland. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you then on our next Freaky Fast broadcast.